Day 5 of Game Changers Championship 2023 and our lower bracket final between G2 and Team Liquid. I'm Mika Fabs, back on the desk alongside Sapphire and Baby Bay. And clearly, I did not get the memo that everybody was in black today. I came in as a rainbow, but that's fine. I mean, like...
No, you look great.
I'm kind of jealous, I'm not going to lie. I wish I was wearing a little bit more color now, you know?
It's the lower final. We gotta pop, we gotta sparkle just a little bit, right? Especially after that previous match, which was what a match we had between Team Liquid and SMG. Looking at how the bracket stands right now, it was a very emotional loss for Team SMG. As I saw earlier, I think I mentioned to you earlier, you know, we saw that some of the girls were very emotional, and I actually saw G2 just run in and give them a big hug. It was so beautiful.
Oh, that's very wholesome. No, I mean, it's hard because obviously SMG, it was right in their grasp too. They were making that comeback. There were a few rounds there that, they just had the wrong timing and it could have gone their way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can't help to think that maybe if they didn't get ecoed as much in this last map especially, because they won both pistols, that maybe they win that map. With the scoreline being so close, like those rounds are just so important. And, you know, if I'm G2 and I'm watching this, I'm like, wow, like that wasn't that clean from Liquid.
Yeah, well, top 4 still isn't bad for Team SMG, so props to them for that. And for Team Liquid, the day is not over yet. But before we get into the match, we are going to play a little game to test how well we know our defending champions.
Oh, no.
It is time to play G2 Truths and a Lie.
Oh, no.
I love that pun, by the way. When we decided on that, everybody was like, yes, that is it. That is what we're going to call it. The game is very, very simple. I will read 3 statements about G2. 2 are true and 1 is a lie, and we have to figure out which one it is. So let's just dive into it. Our first question. Statement number 1, Mimi is from Denmark. Number 2, Sarah is from Turkey. And number 3, Roxy is from Germany. Which one is the lie?
I mean, I know the answer, but I'm not going to give him a free one, so he has to answer first.
I mean, the first one is definitely correct. Like, Mimi is from Denmark, because we heard that in the interview with the double Mimi combo.
Ah, paying attention.
I was paying attention, yeah, I do that sometimes. And dude, this next one, I actually have absolutely no idea. I'm gonna say, is Sarah from Turkey? I don't think she's from Turkey.
I'm not gonna tell you.
That's my answer. I think that's the lie.
Number 2, you know what?
Shoot.
I will support you on that. I will also say 2.
It's absolutely number 2.
Yes!
Yes!
Let's go!
Sarah is from the UK, so that was a lie. Good job. Good job. I thought we were having a divide here. With like, you know, I'm not giving you anything, but there's still a little bit of teamwork. I think we're ready for our next batch of statements here. Possible lies. Okay, number 1, G2 is undefeated versus Pacific GC teams. Number 2, G2 is undefeated versus Spanish GC teams. And number 3, G2 is undefeated versus Saudi VALORANT teams. What you thinking?
Interesting.
Yeah, this is like a tricky one, huh? I feel like they
It's
haven't
very
lost
specific.
to a Pacific GC team at all.
Yeah, they haven't.
Right?
No, because last year it was either X10 Sapphire or Fennel, and they didn't lose to them. They stayed in the upper bracket. Spanish teams.
I like how that's like
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the third option. I think that's the
the
lie.
third option. Saudi
No.
VALORANT teams.
No. Yeah. No. I'm sorry. The second option. I'm gonna go with the second option.
I think the second option.
My bad,
I think
my bad.
they've done some events with a Saudi VALORANT team on land before. So I'm gonna go against the Spanish GC team as a lie.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's kind of a kicker too, because it's like they didn't say EMEA team, you know, they didn't say, it's like it's very specific. Spanish GC teams. I'm actually going to go with 3 just to add a little bit of spice in there. I thought I was like, okay, that's kind of like out of nowhere, but it is
Case
they
Hydra.
lost to Case Hydra in 2023 in GC EMEA Stage 3. It's statement number 2.
That's
that
a
is
sick
correct.
team name. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah?
Like
Like
Case Hydra.
Yeah.
It's all fancy.
you could do like the Hail Hydra kind of thing from Marvel with that, right? And next batch of statements over here, we have, I believe this is going to be our last batch. So we have statement number 1, Split is G2's most played map this year. Number 2, Lotus is G2's most played map this year. And number 3, Ascent is their most played map this year. Which one is it?
This is tough. This is tough, and I actually look at everyone's records and stuff on maps that they play, and I still can't remember it because it's just
It's a lot of information.
That's just on the spot right now. I'm gonna. What's the lie? I think the lie is gonna be Ascent.
Wait.
I'm going with Ascent.
Ascent?
No, this is backwards because you can't say 2 maps are true then, because then 2 maps are most played unless it's a tie. Unless it's a tie and they both played.
It may be.
Could
It may
be.
be a tie.
Okay, so I'm gonna go with Lotus as the lie. I don't remember when the map came out.
I'm gonna go with Ascent as the lie.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Lotus as well. That is my guess. This is so tricky though, because of course,
What?
Split.
It was
is
tied.
a new-
Wow.
It was.
okay,
It was tied.
Wow, they tried
Split
to trick
is
me.
not G2's most played map this year.
What
That is.
analysts are we, Heather?
That was a little bit
I
tricky.
think they brought.
How do we not know this?
The wording.
They haven't played it as much lately.
Yeah, the wording was also very tricky, and the way they phrase certain things that kind of like made you
yeah.
double say, like, what did you say? Okay, all right. But we will be getting into our lower finals soon, enough of these games over here, and we are going to dive into the map pools. Will we see any surprises today? Because Heather, we did see some yesterday. We finally saw Breeze coming out.
Yeah, we finally saw Breeze. It was a very exciting series too. We've been waiting for that. I know some of it in our bingo cards, but yeah, it's going to be interesting what they're going to go with here. Obviously, these teams have faced off against each other twice now, so this is now the 3rd time that they're meeting up, and of course, G2 won both of those, but it was a close series, especially on Sunset, and this is a map where neither region was playing that in the regular season, essentially, so we weren't sure who was going to pick it out, and it was close and exciting, but obviously G2 took it, and then they walked away with Lotus as well.
Yeah, and I think especially after yesterday, I think Team Liquid staying on this ban of Breeze because Petra was looking unreal on that map with the op. I think even in that series, even though they lost against Shopify, she had like 16 op kills. And that is like absurd. I think that might be like one of the highest amount of op kills in an actual BO3 that I've ever seen. And it's just insane.
Yeah, I definitely think the Breeze permaban is coming back. Team Liquid has also been consistently banning that map, so it would make sense. And after you mentioned, after Petra's showing yesterday, I mean, it's pretty obvious what you have to do, right? We have to talk about her, by the way, because she has been diffing everybody here, and she will be up against Bastarda. And, I was talking with Karkas just earlier today. This duelist Petra is basically 5 weeks old. This is what's amazing right here, Sapphire. I mean, look at that.
10 games as duelists, and she's tipping people that probably have 400 almost. So that's wild, especially... I don't know. She's obviously a legend in this game, but she just recently switched to this role. So to do that and going head-to-head against Bastarda, one of the most known duelists in GC scene, I'm very excited for that matchup.
Yeah, and I think what makes her so great is that she was an IGL at one point. So now that Mimi is taking the full reins of IGL, because I feel like it's really hard for duelists to main IGL, I think she's able to do these mid rounds when she gets these picks or these entries, especially on the attacking side, and like call her team back if she's taking a pick by herself, especially with the op. And that's what we saw on Breeze attack, and that's really successful. And like, look at this, she's almost double the age.
This is the most amazing thing about this role swap, right? Is that she's the oldest player here, and she has the least experience as a duelist. My fellow esports boomers, do not try this at home, okay? Without proper warm up and all of the medications needed. I know that. But also, this actually, like I was talking to Karkas earlier, and Petra, she has the pedigree for this role because she is familiar with entry fragging and, in her past, in her background, Sapphire.
Yeah, she is. She's always been kind of that lead of that team. She has no fear, obviously. She's taking that entry role no matter what position she's playing. But it's just so interesting to see because, we were talking, I know some of the talent yesterday about like, all the duelists in all of VCT and their ages. And like, there's hardly any. I'd love to know like how many there are that are 30 that are duelists. I think that's pretty rare. So for her to do that on the global stage, super impressive.
Yeah, and it's really inspiring to me too, because I look at her and I'm like, okay, I can
You
still
gotta
do
be
this.
4 years.
I can still do this,
There
you
you
know what I mean?
When I grow up.
When I grow up, exactly. And she has 2 international titles, and that's just huge.
Inspirational. Before Game Changers, though, Ender sat down with Petra to learn more about G2's camaraderie and how it feels to return to the international stage.
I always saw you and Mimi and the rest of the team having so much fun on stage as well, which is that extra thing you get when it's a LAN event and there's a crowd and everything. The you're great. How much does that like bleed in and elevate compared to when you're just in the gaming house boot camping, for example?
I mean, we actually do it everywhere. Like we're having fun together, we sing together, so it's kind of natural. And it's not an act on stage. Like even off cameras, we're also a bit goofy and yeah, having fun with each other.
You say sing together. What's the go-to karaoke song?
Well, Backstreet Boys, My Fire, and or Pokemon, or like it could be anything. Gummy Bear, Snappy.
Okay, you're kind of all over the place. I like that.
Yeah, we like karaoke.
All right. So now getting to come to Brazil and experience that, there's a lot of old faces maybe returning, some new faces as well. Are there players that you've met already or players that you'd like to meet and are excited for?
Yeah, there have been players we've met already, like Liquid and some of the like Mel and stuff. And yeah, there are also new faces. And yeah, it's fun to meet new people. Sometimes everyone can be a little bit shy, and so am I. But yeah, eventually when we get comfortable, it's nice to have a conversation with each other.
Yeah. Now this isn't your first time to Brazil, right? You were here last year for
Red Bull Campus Clutch.
Yeah. So was there anything you enjoyed previously, or anything you're looking forward to do with the small free time you might have?
Yeah. Well, in not the free time, it was very fun to meet all the supporters, and everyone was super nice. And off time, we went to Rio and we went to the Redeemer and had some nice views and food, and yeah, I really liked it.
All right, I'm very excited for you, and I wish you the best of luck in this tournament to bring that trophy home for a second time around. Thanks so much, Petra. And that wraps it up here.
It's over. I have to go karaoke with G2 now. They're Backstreet Boys fans. We gotta go karaoke. We gotta do this now. But of course, it's so nice to see, you know, the other side of these players. I mean, like, it's so cool to see like Petra playing all these other games and stuff, and how she was able to discover, like, you know, the beauties of Brazil and everything.
Yeah, she really is. And that's a big part of it too. It's not just like the competition. It's meeting all these other teams and seeing other places in the world. It's such a cool moment, and that's why I'm glad we have these opportunities for these teams.
Would you go karaoke?
I would absolutely go karaoke,
yeah?
But I don't know what I would sing.
Backstreet Boys?
I cannot sing very well.
But that's the point. Karaoke is not about singing well.
Well, yeah, you might be right. But there's one thing that I did do that she did, and that's see the Redeemer. And that is just like, that was so crazy to me. Like looking up at this big statue, and I'm like, wow, this puts things into perspective a little bit of how like small we actually are. You know?
For
but,
sure.
Yeah, it's super cool. Brazil's an awesome place.
Definitely. And Petra is also awesome as well. Yeah. Sprint for even more on Petra. Let's send it outside to Doug.
Hey, Petra, quick question for you before you go inside. Your duelist play has been outrageous. People are talking about how you're the best duelist in the tournament. What has been the key to your success in this new role?
Well, I obviously have a lot of experience, right? It comes with the years, and CSGO I was also playing entry fragger and upper, so I'm quite confident in being aggressive. And yeah, I think having great teammates helps me to put in great positions, right? So it makes me more confident.
It's been a lot of fun to watch. Best of luck to you the rest of the way.
Thank you so much.
You can kind of tell she's enjoying it. You know, it's like, you know, when Karkas probably, you know, put her up to the challenge, she was like, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna do this, because G2 is still definitely one of the strongest teams out there, without a doubt, right? And all of these girls are superstars. I mean, you have Petra there. You also have Mimi, who is a superstar in her own right? But at the start of this tournament, Mimi was on fire, and she was top fragging in G2's opening match against Team Liquid. But she was shut down by Shopify Rebellion, you know, not too long ago. I mean, we had a lot of questions about that that performance ever.
Yeah, it was not what we'd expect normally out of her. Obviously, against a lot of the other teams, she performed incredibly well. There were so many like clip-worthy moments from her, but against Shopify, she really did struggle, and you could see that on her face too. That's not normal. Like, kind of the energy was down, and she's aware of it. She knows she can play better, as she said in this tweet here. Like, she knows she can be a better player, and she's going to need that today against a Team Liquid that's kind of on a long win streak right now.
Yeah, and sometimes you just have an off day and like nothing's working for you, you know what I mean? Even though they won the first map, I feel like that first map was on the back of Petra. And going into the next two maps, it just seemed like it wasn't just her that was underperforming, it was multiple players on the team that were just getting outshot and everything like that. But yeah, sometimes you just gotta, you have these bad moments and you just gotta move on. And luckily, this happened in the upper bracket, so they have another chance here to get to get revenge. It's been the theme of this entire tournament. Now they can get revenge on Shopify if they beat Team Liquid here.
Everybody's out for revenge.
Everyone
and actually,
is.
it's a great storyline for each of these teams, right? And speaking of revenge, G2 and Team Liquid, they do have a bit of history. So yes, they faced off earlier in the week, but they also met in the upper final last year.
They did, and it was G2 that sent Team Liquid down to that lower bracket. And while G2 came out ahead, it was close. Team Liquid made that really interesting. And then, of course, as we looked at the series that happened just a few days ago, on that first map, it was looking like TL's run for a moment there. They were up going into the second half, but then G2 went on a big winning streak, and unfortunately, it was G2 that won in overtime.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm just wondering, in this matchup specifically, because we've seen a masterclass of IGLing from Daiki lately, is G2 gonna bite on the feints that Daiki throws? Are they gonna get manipulated with these rotations? But like, when I think about the team, I don't, like, with the experience that they have, I don't see that happening. And I'm actually kind of scared for Liquid here, especially after playing 3 straight maps. I know they have home crowd advantage, but I think that G2 is just too seasoned of a team to be able to fall into these feints that Daiki has been throwing and this, like, these outplays that she's been trying to do.
Plus, they were watching very, very closely,
Yeah, exactly.
right? They're like, okay, Daiki, I see you. And they're coming in so refreshed, right? So talking about what we saw from Team Liquid today, you mentioned how Daiki was, like, you know, doing the feints and everything in their 2-1 win over Team SMG. And we saw that it was indeed a masterclass, like you mentioned, Baby Bay, of IGLing, right? We saw so many good calls here from Daiki, especially on bind.
Yeah, and it's right now, right here, in which Daiki could cement herself as one of the best IGLs in Game Changers, because to call 2 back-to-back BO3s and to make adaptations on the fly in real time, quite literally, because you know that G2 has been watching your entire game. They're sitting here watching you while they're warming up. You know they're studying every play you had. So if you're able to make these adaptations on the fly, that is what separates like the best from the best of the best.
Yeah, and you know, we know that TL's like classic strat is doing that, like, find that opening pick and just sit and wait. And against SMG there, where it started to potentially slip away on Ascent, is they were losing that opening pick. They were not getting it, and they had to have individual heroics to fight back. But obviously going against G2, those individual heroics get even harder against some of the best mechanical players in the world. So obviously they're going to need to lean into what they do so well, is hunt down that opening pick with players like Bastarda and just wait and let G2 sweat it out and make the final move.
I actually saw a bit of like a chameleon-like effect on Liquid. They were kind of playing like SMG. After, like, you know, a few rounds, suddenly it was like, wait a minute, are you out SMGing SMG? Are you out smeeging SMG, you know? So it was fascinating to watch, especially since, you know, we keep bringing up Daiki just because she's such an amazing IGL. The crowd, by the way, keeps chanting her name, which is just like, you know, the energy is amazing, especially since they're fighting on their home ground, right? And you just have to wonder, like, how much more strategies does Daiki have in this playbook, right? We saw a lot coming out versus Team SMG, and they're the kind of team that will exhaust that. So you gotta wonder, what else do they have prepared for G2?
Yeah, exactly. You're gonna want a deep strat pool here. Obviously, the calling on the fly, the mid-rounding is your biggest thing that you can rely on here. And of course, eventually when we get to the map pool, it's going to be very interesting. Are there going to be some repeat maps? Are they going to play maps that they just played against against SMG, where G2 just got to sit there and just take notes the entire time?
A win here would also be a huge milestone milestone for Team Liquid, right? Because it will be their third place. It will top their third place finish, rather, at last year's championship. So this is them, you know, once going closer and closer to that goal, to having their revenge, as all of these teams are, Baby Bay.
Yeah, and you always want to play better than the previous year. Always, right? Because you want to see the performance show in your results. And I think if they win this, they're going to be even more motivated in that final against Shopify. And we might see a completely different team, because when you have the momentum on your side, especially with this team specifically, like when they start getting rounds and stringing rounds together, they kind of just snowball and just take it away. I think that they could actually make a really deep run here. But like I said, they have to start off strong. They have to get the momentum on their side and kind of make it almost impossible for G2 to fight back.
Well, we kept talking about her. Earlier this week, Ender sat down with Team Liquid's IGL Daiki to talk about her peers and a very special moment from last year's tournament.
I saw that you were often speaking with players from other teams. So is there anyone you're excited to see come back now to Brazil this time?
I love Mel, and I talk a lot with Mel last year, and even before the Game Changers Championship. And the two girls, it's very special to me. They are very kind, and I love to see them come back here, and now in my home ground. It's very, very special.
I saw it when you went to when you went to Berlin, you got to see Snow with the team. I was showing you the clip from earlier. How fun was that for you, I guess, to go to a new city and experience that?
A gente tinha acabado de perder e tava sendo um momento bem difícil pra gente. Eu particularmente tava abalada, e quando a gente viu a neve, eu acho que a gente conseguiu esquecer um pouco desse sentimento ruim que a gente tava sentindo, e a gente conseguiu aproveitar, e eu acho que é por causa disso que a neve em si traz uma memória, uma tranquilidade, uma paz pra dentro de mim.
So overall, we were in a position that we just had lost, and perhaps that's one of the reasons that Snow for me got to have this special meaning that brings me a tranquility, because after all, we had a chance to just forget about that moment and just enjoy as a group that moment that we were all sharing of seeing the snow together, and we just got to be in a very joyful moment.
Amazing. Well, best of luck to you in the tournament, and thanks for taking the time.
Thank you.
What you gotta love about her as well is she is such an emotional leader. She is the kind, she kind of has this you know, that inspire kind of effect, that bardic kind of effect, where suddenly if she gives that call, everybody instantly gets this, you know, magical buff, and everybody just gets inspired. And that's what I love about her as well. But before we move forward, I want to get some last minute predictions from the desk to see who's moving on to face Shopify tomorrow, myself included. Oh no, I think you can see it. Did you peek? Did you peek? I think you can see it. It was at an angle. Are we gonna show this on 3? Just
let's do it.
Okay? All right. 1, 2, 3.
Bam! Yeah, I'm going with the G2 2-0.
Oh, we are all G2.
2-0.
Oh.
It's a hot take.
It is a hot take.
It could be a hot take.
It is a hot take, because I'm kind of wondering what the reaction of the crowd is outside right now. Do we have to hide ourselves?
I think I have to hide.
Yeah.
I gave Team Liquid and Brazil a little heart here. So
I see what you did.
yeah.
We gave a 1 too. We gave a 1.
Well, yeah, and again, Team Liquid has not ever beat G2, even on a map. So I'm giving them that. They've got some momentum here.
I also feel like there will be overtime. There may be multiple overtimes as well for this, especially since lower final, ladies and gentlemen. There's a lot at stake. But look at that, baby. That's a 2-0.
Yeah, I'm going
with a squiggle.
Yeah. It's a confident 2-0. I just think that the op from Petra against this team of Team Liquid will absolutely dismantle them. Now, of course, I could be wrong, but I don't see how Team Liquid will do being down numbers and not being up numbers, because like you were saying, Heather, they tend to do really well when they get the first blood and they're able to slow the round down. But Petra with this op, actually will just, I think it'll just dismantle the entire strategy that they have.
I also think that Squiggle is a very
Like that?
confident
Yeah, it is.
Squiggle.
Absolutely.
I do agree though. This this role swapping that G2 has been doing has been working wonders for them and has been confusing a lot of their opponents too. Suddenly it's a new G2 and a lot of the teams aren't exactly prepared, but let's see, our coaches are ready for map selection, so let's listen in and find out what's ahead.
Okay, so this is map select for G2 against CL. We are at lower bracket finals. G2 is a higher seed, so start choosing if wants to be Team A or Team B.
Team B.
Team B, okay, so G2 is Team B. Liquid is Team A. Liquid starts banning a map.
Ban Breezy.
Ban Breeze.
Yeah.
G2 ban.
Ban Bind.
Ban Bind. Map pick for Team Liquid.
Pique Ascent.
Ascent. Side on Ascent for G2.
Defense.
Defense. Map pick for G2.
Oh, it's us. Big Lotus.
Lotus. Side on Lotus for Team Liquid.
Attack.
Attack. Ben for Team Liquid. You got Haven, Sunset, or Split.
Ban Sunset.
Sunset. A ban for G2. You got Haven or Split.
Ban Haven.
Ben Haven. Okay, so Split is the sider. Team Liquid side on Split.
Attack.
Attack. Okay. Good luck. Have fun.
Good luck. Good luck. Good luck.
The hopes of the Brazilian region are on the line, and the defending champions are on a mission to reclaim their crown. It can't get any better than this, and you got the two IGLs flexing on their walkout as well. Gotta love that girl power coming out. And Sapphire, we were talking about the map bans earlier. We saw the the ban on Breeze and on Bind, which I think was very smart for G2.
It was very smart. I'm feeling pretty good about my 2-1 prediction here. Yeah, obviously it makes sense for TL to grab Ascent. Like, that's where Daiki has an IGL playground there. They've done so well on it. Obviously, we just saw them win a huge performance against SMG, whereas on the other side, G2 got smacked around against Shopify on Ascent.
Yeah, and Daiki's no stranger to starting on attack on the side of the map, and she's very confident in the way she calls. But this is where the question raises, right? It's like, does she have a big enough strat pool to pull this map off? Because we just watched G2 just sitting there warming up, watching this entire map, and
That's right.
we saw the entire attack of Team Liquid. Now that being said, Team Liquid has been dominating this map. They've beaten multiple teams on it. But I think the split is going to be an interesting one. If it gets there, I think it's going to be a really interesting map pick. The Lotus, we saw G2 absolutely smash Team Liquid, so no surprise there. The first time they played. against each other in the upper quarterfinals.
Well, it will get to split, according to me and Sapphire. According to me and Sapphire, it will get there. But it should be a good match regardless. You can see Petra flexing as well. She is so ready. And then, you know these girls definitely have that, I'm sure the crowd out there is electric as well. And, we do bring up a good point about Team Liquid having come from the previous series. There is a question of, are they coming in hot or are they possibly tired out?
Yeah, you could argue it either way in the sense, obviously, they're warmed up on stage. They know they've got their setup right. They've been perfected over 3 maps, but those were a long 3 maps too. Whereas G2 got to chill in the lounge. They watched this match, but at the same time, it depends on the player. We saw some of those players, they got their headphones on. They're in the zone.
And now going into our Prime Gaming Agent Select, we can see here, not surprised at all with this composition.
I didn't see this one coming.
Really?
No, I'm kidding. I saw it coming.
Oh my gosh.
Sure.
It's a Killjoy, it's a Sova, a KO, and a Jet, and a mirror matchup on Ascent. Shocking.
Yeah, and just to piggyback off of what you guys were talking about with the playing 3 maps already for Team Liquid, I think that their biggest factor into the series is going to be that crowd's energy. They're going to need to feed off of that energy. So, Brazilian crowd, they need you. If there's ever a moment to support your team, it's right now, because after being in a series like that, they're going to need the help.
Well, our teams are set, and it's time to get this lower final started. Let's send it over to your casters. Here's Doug and Athena.
Thank you so much, Mika. Athena, given some of the story that we've had so far, for it to all culminate in this instance, the way that these 2 teams have gotten here, even just today, feels so drastically different.
It's so crazy because we're seeing somewhat of a rematch from last year and somewhat of a redemption game for TL and G2. Both these teams going through roster changes, going through so much, always being played as kind of the upper hand in all of their matches, not even ending in for G2, not even the first seed of EMEA. Now they're here showing that they're trying to make it to the finals. Both these teams have so much on the line and they're proving it time and time again.
Even just considering the fact that Liquid have gone through a gauntlet just earlier today. Yeah. Really no moment of respite to recover, to think things through, to make any adjustments. It's just kind of right back into the action. You see Liquid on the attacking side, and it is going to be Daiki testing the waters mid. Unaware of the fact that there's a whole lot waiting on the other side. Daiki testing things out, and she's been spotted. She's been dropped. A great opener out from Sarah. They're going to take all this space mid, and they're going to be able to apply a lot of pressure on A.
Yep, the post plant's going to be so important here because they have to push up and get that space, and we see 2 players on that heaven already waiting for that smoke.
Issa's timing here is going to be huge. She's pushed all the way into spawn, and I don't know that Glance or the rest of them know that she's there. Roxy and Glance get 2. There's the swing out. Bastarda responds with 2 of her own. Just a couple of members now left for Liquid as they're trying to hold them back. Mimi and Sarah remain in this brutal 2v2, and it just goes Liquid's way.
A beautiful 3K from Zeta. Oh my goodness. Again, that post plant was looking a little bit scary after losing Daiki in that beginning of the early round, but it was okay because they regrouped and they went together as a team. Daiki doing really good IGLing from the deaths, but again, this post plant pushing up it's really great. It looked really scary for a second because of that flank, but it didn't matter. Zera with the 3K to just clutch it out. And again, you were talking about how this team just went through a whole war zone to get to here. Well, TL is warm. I would love to play this BO3 after just playing another BO3, especially coming off of a win. You have that momentum going into this game.
I think the question becomes, how long will that momentum last, right? How long will it carry? Because again, they just went through a full BO3. It was a very stressful one with elimination on the line. So it weighs on you, right? It weighs on your mental, it weighs on your endurance, and I think that ultimately becomes the name of the game here as Mimi is going to fall. How far can they drag this momentum out?
For sure, a free site for TL. They're going to be flipping that site because they know they've seen all 3 of the players behind them in B main. Really, really well played, but again, these players are just going to try to get as many guns down as they can from G2. This is a winnable post time with the amount of util they have, but as I say that, TL players dropping like flies. Sarah's manages to get one of her own, but Issa just showing that the 3K is there to stay. Another 3K.
They're piling them up early.
Yeah, padding their stats.
which is exactly what you want. Again, momentum is key. Getting these ults online early on is key as well. We'll see how much more of this they can balloon. Bizarra 3 points away from having her ult online. Issa's halfway to having the lockdown. And those are, I mean, that's exactly how you want rounds like this to go, right? Keep it clean, get as many orbs as you can, and set eyes on what's next.
Exactly, and now we're gonna head into that bonus round for Team Liquid. Full buys, half armor for the G2 side. Just a standard default coming in, setting up that Killjoy into B main, getting that info and just poking and prodding as much as they can.
Petra went up pretty far here. Also spotting Bizarra over in tiles. Petra's here by herself. There's no like flash setup or paranoia setup or anything like that for her.
Yeah, after figuring out that the Killjoy is playing A, we see this TL team split onto Cat. They know it's weak, pushing into heaven, but Mimi picks off Astasha.
A massive kill for her, but responded by Bizarra. Petra is doing her best to keep them back as well. Playing on the other side of the smoke, Georgina just absolutely obliterated her. Fortunately for G2, Sarah's still playing backside. Still playing down in hell, and you've got numbers up plenty. Not that they were required. Sarah gets 3, and G2 are on the board.
3 seems to be the lucky number for both of these teams today. 3K after 3K. And now we are going to see the first gun round of this game. 1 orb off of that kilowatt for TL. They're probably going to do some sort of default to get it and end in some sort of split. But again, this hold was so beautiful from Sarah on that A side. I mean, TL did such a great job at finding the weakness right away. They knew that KJ was playing on that B side, and they're like, yeah, let's just split. So that kind of speedy reactions is kind of what we see when they're coming in from already being warmed up. And again, like I said, they're going to be taking this A main control, trying to get this orb on KO. And who knows where they're ending, but this trap is going to make it a little bit harder for them to do so.
I'll tell you real quick who doesn't look cold. Sarah. Sarah's started off, I mean, with a great beginning to this map. Currently sitting at 7-1, 7-2, something like that. But you can tell for G2, we just saw 2 different instances. One off of Sarah, and then the other one we just saw off of Mimi. They're trying to do a really good job of setting Petra up to get her rolling and to find some success. That one was ultimately just her, and Bastardo on the swing.
You were saying?
Yeah. But success for Petra nonetheless.
Yep, the standard regroup after losing numbers. We've seen TL do this a bunch, and it is a good call because they are playing off that B side. They have this KO ult. It's not going to tag anyone. I mean, that KJ in mid, but it's not enough because they are playing retake, and this is perfect from G2. Retaking that mid space, and they're going to set up the double or even the triple flank on that B main for this retake.
Issa's going to have a lot to deal with. Back towards the presence, knife out. Not able to find any sort of value there. So you start to see some of this pressure and some of this control that Team Liquid have begin to alleviate. Only 3 members left on the site. While they continue to get swarmed, G2 getting ever so close to taking the site back. Given the numbers advantage that they have, you see him start to swing out. Petra with 3 on the round already. Sarah and Roxy clean things up. We're tied at 2 apiece.
I mean, that was such a hard round for TL to hold on the site because they had players coming in from Spawn, from Market, and from B main. They needed desperately to get some sort of space or to have some sort of setup towards one side of that map. But unfortunately, G2 just way too quick with it. Beautiful reactions down mid. This pick was really, really great. As soon as they knew that they had that A main control and no one else was coming, the quick reactions to push down mid, perfectly well played by G2. And again, just scaling together, the timing as a team. We're talking about TL being warm, but G2 looks like their teamwork is really warm coming into this.
Sarah has her ult online. Petra's 1 away from Blades. Issa, we mentioned a couple of rounds ago, close to having the lockdown still. A lot of investment mid. Yo, those are the best. Those are the best kills where you just like spam into a smoke and you're gifted 2 free kills.
What do you mean? You don't see the outline?
I mean, if she saw it, it worked. Daiki with the Sheriff. You have 2 rifles left on the side of Liquid, but I mean, the round has already gone so sideways.
Yeah, I mean, it's so hard to come back from this amount of bodies dropping so quick in the round. You didn't even have a chance to default and get space. But again, the only kind of option that they have is either grouping up or playing for these picks. And we see them going towards that cat, which so far from G2 has been pretty weak almost all of these rounds. So TL kind of abusing that sort of information, hopefully abusing rotations, just walking up together, contacting, trying to find a pick of their own. But Petra, she's so aware. She knew that that was something that they were trying to do. Did not let that happen, and now the split has to go a lot faster because they all know that they're there.
Well, and even with that, look at how like patiently G2 are playing this.
Yeah.
They know that they've lost A. But they know they have numbers advantage. They know they can lean into those strengths.
Left.
This is
Spike
masterful
planted.
calling from G2 right now.
Yep, keeping that cat control from Georgina might be a little bit of a saver for them. But again, A-main is fully gone. Daiki going for the push, but Roxy with the instant trade.
Smoke out. Petra dropped. 3v2. Issa has ult. Do you invest it in a situation like this? Hello? Oh, that could have been really bad. But ultimately it works out. G2's going to get the defuse. I'm surprised that they played that the way that they did. And I mean, there was a free kill teed up, unfortunately not coming through. But the defense will take the lead.
It's okay, Georgina. We've all been there.
We saw it.
Don't worry about it. It was okay. It was just a Guardian, you know. But yeah, again, this first spray down was brutal from Petra. This is so unfortunate because TL didn't make a mistake.
Let's go.
They just walked.
G2 just got kind of lucky.
Yeah.
They just walked up. They're trying to default. Now I hope they learn their lesson. They're going to be using a lot more util on that take, but not much else you can do. And now we're looking like a standard default. Again, we do have this KJ lockdown. They're looking to get into that B main, but they don't know that Petra's here waiting for them with this operator.
First time we've seen it this map. That flash to give the aggressive angle, and it's perfect. But Petra's in trouble. She can't see a thing. She's trying to dash out, trying to find safety, and is unable to find it. That was a really good counterpunch out from Liquid.
Both teams going so quick that the util was just absolutely perfect. I mean, from TL, that was a wonderful masterclass of a round. And now, with this reaction, we're going to see them trying to get some sort of info, just holding, trying to see if G2 tries to walk up and make a mistake so they can get more numbers and just solidify the round. But, I mean, clock is ticking, 1 minute left, and they're going to be regrouping towards that mid.
They have so many tools that they can work with. It's almost like having it, it's a good problem to have, but having this abundance of options on how you want to play the round out can prove to be paralyzing at times.
Yeah, G2 taking this A main space because they know they need to do something, get some sort of number, hope they catch someone off guard, but look at this.
Oh, I thought she was going to be patient. Drop down. Georgina somehow still gets a second. That'll crack things wide open.
30 seconds left.
I mean, G2, they have plenty of money, so really no reason not to go for it. But we'll see what they choose to do. A beautiful round from Liquid to go all the way back to understanding that there would likely be pressure from Petra. That's one down. Yeah, understanding there would likely be pressure from Petra, understanding how you want to dissuade that and kind of break some of that timing and put Petra in a bad spot. To the execution there, it's just been a beautiful round from Liquid.
Yeah, for sure. And you're going to feel kind of grim because as Petra tried to push and try to get that B main space, it got instantly denied. I mean, mid has worked for her really well. A has worked for her really well. So I wonder if G2 is going to switch it up a little bit towards that B main side, see if they can try to do something different to punish that. I mean, I don't think that TL is going to be doing the same thing again where they just like hard punish B main right off the bat again. But we'll see. We'll have to see because that operator, Roxy saving is actually pretty big. They can still get picks off of that. They can still work the map off of that. And especially with these knives, like it's almost perfect for Petra to take that off.
Take a look at that opening moment one more time. There was a barrage of utility flashes, shock darts from both sides, and the aforementioned failed dash into the wall that made it to where there was no easy escape and nowhere to go. For Liquid, I think, again, we've got to point out the fact that they are coming out from another series. They still look warm. They still look comfortable. They are not showing any signs of fatigue or anything like that.
For sure, and looking like a straight-up A-main hit. Petra with that op, we were just talking about it. Instantly gets the first pick, and now TL just put a brakes on what they were trying to do, possibly farming their orb once again. But again, they're down numbers. It feels like both these teams are so good at getting these first bloods so early on in the game that it's making it hard for either team to adapt.
Yeah, it looked like, I would love to see that again because it looked like Liquid tried playing out onto A pretty dry, but it wasn't contacting. They weren't slow about it. Yeah, there was, I would love to take a look at that again.
They used util, but it was weird because just kind of like peeked out as well.
Yeah, ahead of things for sure.
But G2 just cleaning up this round. Mid. Roxy and Sarah getting those picks. Georgina getting caught off in that A main by the Petra just holding. with that operator, and now it's all down to Issa.
Ever tell you about the time Issa won that 1v5?
It wasn't this time.
It wasn't this time. No, it was not this time.
Oh yeah, I remember.
G2 take the lead right back. Again, we continue to see this back and forth affair between these two squads. G2 looking comfortable. They're really having their way now as they've continued to unlock Petra to put her in positions of success.
Yep, and now we still have the KJ lockdown. I mean, this B main worked wonderfully for them. Defaulting has been okay for TL. I mean, it's been pretty back and forth with the First Bloods, like we've said, depending on where Petra wants to set up her op. And I think at this point in time, we want to see TL kind of figure out where she's setting up her op, playing it slow, just getting that information with the Sova drone, because at this point, that op is showing to be a threat.
They have 4 members of the defense on B here. The drone to pave the way. She's tagged.
Yo.
That damage gets old. Anybody? Any turret clearers? Help me out here.
Yeah, that turret was wall hacking.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
So where do they go from here? They use the drone to get her into an aggressive angle. They do still have a really nice trap set. Mimi's playing in Cubby right now. They just knife to confirm that there is still presence here. And it's not like Liquid have gotten enough space to where they could pop off of this. There's still so much room they have to grab. She hit it.
Should run.
And again, they don't know that Mimi's here. This is perfect. Mimi gets 2. The nade should destroy the lockdown. Petra trying to get high ground and help with the blades over the top. 3 on the round for Mimi. What a gorgeous set by G2.
That was a really nice setup. The bait by the op, getting the first kill, dashing off. The rest of the team pushing up into that B main. I mean, you come to think that maybe G2 read that KJ lockdown was meaning that TL was going to end towards B. And I think that's a pretty good assumption to make, and it obviously played out well for them. They gambled towards that site, like you said, 4 stacked towards B. And that was just so wonderfully played, so patient from Mimi. And she tweeted earlier about how she was disappointed in her performance.
Right, yeah.
Well, her patience and the way that she's playing right now and the way that she's calling is obviously playing out. She definitely took some time to reflect, and it's really, really obvious. And then G2 with the timeout coming in.
Yeah, just a couple of brief moments for teams to talk things over. As again, it's been a pretty close back and forth. But honestly, as I say that, and as I think through what we've seen in this first half, if it wasn't for the pistol going in favor of Liquid, I think we could be having a very different conversation here, right?
Oh, yeah.
G2 have won, what, 5 of the last 6? And even situations like that round we just saw felt very readable. Obviously, if G2 were willing to stack 4, leave mid entirely open, and have Roxy playing soft on A by herself, they clearly have a beat on what's going on here.
For sure, and they have just been warming up, watching as TL plays this map, literally just a BO3 ago. So it might be playing a factor in this, where they're understanding the tendencies and the habits of how they're playing. But, I mean, G2 getting that operator online so early on their defense side, I think has definitely been the game changer, because you're right, it has been 5 rounds almost in a row. It's hard to get that momentum back for TL.
Gonna try to go faster outside of that using the blades. They've invested into this here too. They're bringing 4 rifles into the round. Light armor on all. They've lost mid. They have no idea of what's happening mid. And I think because of that, Liquid have to take the longer route.
Bullshit.
Yep, full space taken in mid. This is so dangerous. I mean, everyone is playing retake towards that B, which is fine because they have that KO ult. They have the op to kind of hold that aggressive line. And now mid is just so open. And taken advantage of, but Mastanda gets the kill onto Glance.
That was ridiculous. I don't know how they were set up for it. Glance was in such a good spot. But they continue to push forward. The problem is Petra and Roxy are ahead of this. They're already here. Georgina has a chance to make something ridiculous happen. Roxy had no idea where she was. Petra was there on the trade, but Bazera's trade proved to be the final one. G2, again, did an awesome job, excellent job of denying that mid space. It just wasn't executed well.
Yeah, I mean, TL, they didn't even need to use that much util. Just the jump spot, and then the wide swing with the jet knives was enough to catch a G2 player off guard. I mean, here, just catching the player in fridge. super unfortunate for Glance, but at the same time, this play, this trap off Cat, the flash perhaps missing, it looked like G2 had a solid plan, but the fact that TL just walked out and got that first kill, that was not planned, that was not part of it. And so just shutting that down is really good. And then this default, I mean, this is what they need now, knowing that this mid space has been taken a lot of rounds in a row. This drone is going to get them all that information needed. I mean, they know that Sova is stuck in pizza.
Glance is feeling a lot of pressure here. Nike has 100 Fury, but they didn't have to use it. Glance had nowhere to go. And it seems like they're going to continue to push forward. Trampling up mid. The thing is, there are a couple of members of G2 behind them. Daiki's alone. That's huge. That's a spike. There's no one to help her. They're going to have to rally back, deal with the space that's been lost, and try to recover the spike, but what a mess up around. Eugenia's in their spawn. G2's in Liquids. Everything has gone backwards. Mimi's left alone. A 1v2 now, a 2-1 at that, and it will not come through to fruition. We're tied at 5.
I mean, this is crazy because TL just won the last 2 rounds coming off of the G2 timeout. Yeah. That's not what you want. I mean, it was an interesting timeout. After winning so many rounds, you think you want to keep that momentum up. But I guess they had something they really wanted to talk about. But again, another timeout coming in from G2. Oh wait, the first timeout was TL actually.
We got trolled.
Yeah, we did get trolled.
We got trolled. We got hard trolled. But you know what? All good.
All good.
All good. It was Liquid who called a timeout previously, and now the story makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, that makes more sense. TL's timeout doing really good work for them because they're instantly fixing a lot of those mistakes, a lot of those gaps. I mean, Eugenia doing a great job at lurking, and even though they do lose numbers towards that mid, they're well aware that G2 has been in love with fighting mid. Yeah. They're aware that there's some sort of trap setups. As soon as the drone caught wind of someone playing in that pizza, there was a dart, there was a molly, there was a flash, there was someone wide swinging. TL kind of breaking down that defense that G2 is trying to set up towards that mid, and maybe G2 sees that they're understanding what's going on, but Petra has that off. I mean, you don't have to do a full mid trap in order to fight for this. I mean, you have an operator.
Yep. And that very well might be what the team is discussing right now on the timeout. You see the head coach of G2 Gozen trying to settle things. As it seemed like G2 had some momentum and was going to start to run away with this thing, but it's been a great response in front of the hometown crowd to keep things competitive. The last 2 rounds going in favor of Liquid. They do have a decent amount of money, all things considered, and the 100 Fury out for Daiki too. But it looks like they're going to be pushing into this op line again. You know, we talked about this a couple of rounds ago, the setup that Petra had with Mimi. A little bit of a different flavor, a little variation, if you will. But they're going to be pushing right into the teeth of this. It all depends on how pacey they're going to be with it.
Both teams fighting for this B main. This operator is online, but the flash is not going to hit Petra with the first blood. And now this is how G2 has capitalized every single round. Whichever team has gotten these first bloods, it's felt like it's gone that way towards that team. So TL, they really need to come up with a plan to refight. But the extremity on A has been pushed as well. The Omen is in wine and KO just spotting.
Mimi and Sarah waiting close by. And you can see the setup. There's I guess a one-way and then maybe a paranoia. For Sarah, she's patient with it. There's not going to be anything to clear that nano. So the paranoia provides safe passage for her to get out. Liquid have frozen on this, and I'm really surprised that G2 haven't taken some more space, given some of what they've just seen A.
Yeah, KJ's still on that B. I mean, rotating the Sova here is a really good call because they know that there's so much pressure here, and the 100 Fury actually coming out.
Petra missed the first shot. She missed the second as well. Bastarda was there to punish, but Sarah still causing problems backside. A 2v2, and they're surrounded once more. Liquid are going to have to deal with everything coming from either side. The 100 Fury out from Glance will deny the plan, at least for the time being. With 17 seconds left, nothing else really to keep that back for now. Bastarda, I don't know that she knows, but she procs the dash and should be able to get to safety. Roxy with some utility in nano. The lockdown too, do you invest it here? Knowing that you don't have the 100 Fury on the other side? No, instead she's playing for distraction. Drops the turret, tries to draw eyes, tries to draw attention and focus. And let Glance get into a better position. Roxy winning the first, it's gonna have to be Glance. Glance is healthy, Daiki is not by any means, but it does not matter. What a 3K from Daiki.
The IGL of Team Liquid. She was on fire last BO3, and she's on fire in this first map as well, because what a round. Again, I literally just said that whoever gets the first blood wins the round. I apologize, Team Liquid, because I was wrong. I mean, what a way to bring it back. G2 staying way too long in that setup towards A main. They baited so much of their util out. TL baited so much of G2's util out. They knew that they were in a weird setup. They had to fall back to site. They knew they didn't have that paranoia to delay. Like, it was such a weird round for G2. They had the opening kill. They had all the information, and they still stuck to a setup for way too long. But Petra, understanding that she could be pushed up towards B main here, but this turret has been a threat, man. Someone just break it for Petra.
Well, it's crazy, too, is they just tried. Right, Roxy threw the nano over the top to try to clear out the turret, but it was shot out by Issa, so that will continue to be a problem. Now Roxy's no longer around. And if I'm not mistaken, yeah, she had a lockdown. Last round of the half, massive tool, not around, but Mimi and Sarah certainly still are. Let's start that Nisa. Left to figure out what went so wrong as Mimi's not able to convert, and once again, it feels like G2 has a numbers advantage. They have some control of the situation, and it's just one little thing goes sideways, and all of a sudden, Liquid are back in it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, walking up, taking that A main space, so smart when they've lost the space towards B main. They've known that it was contested, but they just retook space A main. So played well again by G2. They got the kills, but then overstaying their welcome and allowing that team to get the trade towards them. That is so rough, but they know that they're on the flank.
Glance has a lot of util. Oh, but it doesn't matter. Glance swings out and gets both. No way.
Glance, what a crazy shot. Crazy amount of shots there. Wow. This is so close. I mean, 6-6. This is literally as close as it could be. Both these teams playing amazingly. Seems like G2 understands and is trying to play the map in the way that they play. They get these beautiful, beautiful frags, these kills, these trades. But again, over the one enemy remaining. Yes, it delayed for a while, but Glance, technically that should not have been around for G2. No. But again, Glance just clutching it out. That was so great.
Unreal fight. We're going to throw it down to the crowd, actually, as we have an interview standing by.
Fala, gente bonita! Eu tô aqui junto com o Crane, que é um jogador assim incrível do Challengers BR, que a gente gosta, né? E agora a gente vai bater um papinho aqui, tanto em português quanto em inglês, fechado? Hello everyone, I'm here with Crane. He's a really well-known player from our Challengers our Brazilian Challengers, and I'm going to ask him about Team Liquid because I heard that his team was, well, you were nailed by Team Liquid while you were screaming. So, let's talk a little bit. Crane, eu fiquei sabendo que vocês levaram assim um sufoco da Team Liquid quando vocês jogaram contra elas, quando vocês treinaram. É verdade isso?
É verdade, sim. A gente foi amassado por elas e a gente ficou surpreso também como elas baniram contra a SMG a Lotus, né? Que foi o treino que a gente teve. E com isso a gente tem uma grande esperança para elas ganharem esse campeonato, né? Levar o troféu para casa.
Okay. So he basically said that, yeah, basically Team Liquid nailed them. They were playing Lotus and he was kind of surprised because they banned Lotus. I mean, why? So he said that he's basically really hopeful that Team Liquid can take this with basically our trophy home. E deixa eu te perguntar uma coisa. Team Liquid G2, você acha que essa rematch aí vai dar bom pra Team Liquid?
Eu acredito que agora elas estão mais preparadas, né, para essa revanche, então acho que elas vêm muito mais confiantes, já sabem como o oponente joga, então acho que dá pra gente ganhar sim.
Vamos ver então. So I asked him about G2 and Team Liquid, what does he expect? And he said that probably Team Liquid can take this for sure. So thank you very much. E é com vocês, gente.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, it's been an excellent series so far. Again, no signs of fatigue, no signs of slowing down from Liquid, and it's just been so much fun, at least so far in this first half, to watch these two teams clash, knowing that Shopify is lying in wait, waiting for tomorrow.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, playing for that final spot, there's going to be a lot of stress, a lot of maybe scared, maybe not fully confident, you know what I mean? But both these teams showing that doesn't matter. They know that they're playing for the grand final spot, and they're hungry for it. And that's why these rounds are so close. I mean, 6-6, that is literally the closest it can be. But this attack side looking like it's gonna be a poke and prod towards A as they're contacting up towards the site. They know the Killjoy's turret over there.
The crazy thing is, too, this turret, I mean, is so far up, you really have to commit if you want to clear that thing, and that is exactly what Liquid wants. They're going to want to take these fights. Issa, with a classic from hell, by the way, is able to clean up Petra. And this defense seems to be holding up just fine. I wonder if they're, yeah, they're going to try to flip. Roxy was still playing mid, but you've got to be careful because Bastarda's on the flank, and I don't know if she's been hurt. Oh, it's not going to matter. It's only one. And now we find ourselves in a really awkward situation. You still have a little under a minute, a little bit under a minute left in the round with plenty of options. Liquid, unsure of that, have to divide their resources and leave a couple B and a couple A.
Yeah, 4v2 though for Liquid. Surely they just wait for each other, play it smart. This retake should be in the bag because G2 have to do something crazy here. And crazy,
30 seconds left.
Crazy, I was crazy once because I pushed into the CT smoke to get this kill. And Roxy playing so close, oh my goodness, no push, nothing. They're just gonna group up and go out together on the TL side.
Will they be disciplined enough to check? Note, it's just a classic. It was just a Sheriff and Roxy with 2. Tries to land the third and she cannot, but so much help, so much work has been done. It does not matter though. Jujina saves the day. Oh, that was insane.
That was such a crazy round. But TL originally playing us so beautifully. This crossfire on B. I mean, we had Issa so ready to hold the left side of site because she knew that her right side of site was held by Jujina. Such beautiful team play on that side. They knew that they had it on lock. And then this reaction to come out 4 out of spot. Yes, it was a bit weird. Yes, they got two bodies down, but they still stuck together. They knew it was a 4v2 and they had numbers and they had bodies, and the coaches and their girls just showing how much excitement there is. And we were talking about them not slowing down. I mean, I think those cams literally speak for themselves.
I would love to know what the coaches were saying to each other just then. We can do this.
Yeah.
We can do this? Yeah, we can do this. A huge start. Daiki has an Ares. They're invested into this a little bit. Roxy with the Sheriff. Petra's going to be the first to fall. It's really, I mean, it's armor on Roxy too.
One enemy remains.
The armor melts just as quickly as G2 does. A 4K for Bizarre. We talked about padding stats early on in these eco rounds. Now 2 away from having the lockdown early in the second half.
Yeah, a beautiful hold from coming in from TL. I mean, the KO molly to delay, everything was just so quick, so ready to come support the team. I mean, G2 tried to push towards that cat. They used the paranoia. They ran up together, but there's nothing they can do. And there's a KO molly just sitting there, ready to take down your health, chunk down that health, and delay for so long that the rest of TL is back. And if anyone can translate that, let me know, because we're going to start screaming that soon if TL win another round here on this bonus.
I mean, listen to this crowd. My Portuguese is not perfect, but it sounded like the coaches were asking for Brazil to support them, to have their back. And that's exactly what the crowd does.
Just a standard default here from both teams. We actually have 2 players on the defense side playing in spawn, ready to quick rotate. They're playing back towards mid, expecting some sort of rush. But the drone towards B main is going to put so much pressure when there's just Sova here holding the site on their own.
Yeah, she's alone. Why are they playing so far off? They're convinced that it's going to be a split through market, but now they're starting to rotate over. The thing is, they've lost the site. Petra's so far up, but Bizarre hits an insane timing window. He falls. So goes the rest of the site, but Bastarda continues to be a problem. Roxy now jumping down with spike in hand, trying to clear out back site. Oh my goodness, Roxy gets one with the turret too. She's gonna have to do it on her own though. That's second kill. Nice, Issa saved the day there. How does she play this out? Spike has been ticking for a little bit. I'd love to see her POV here. Thank you. Both there, and none of them connect. 3 for Bizarre. Roxy had an outrageous round, but this is huge for Liquid.
Yeah, it is huge. That bonus round was actually wild. It didn't look so promising. They had just Sova on site, but like I said, the two players playing towards that spawn, they were ready to quick rotate. They were ready to fast flood. And actually, Bastarda ended up dashing into site in order to support her team, and I think that is something that shows how fast that TL plays. We've seen their fast floods, we've seen their fast retakes, and that's exactly what puts them above other teams when it comes to specifically retaking, even when they don't have numbers. And for this next round, it's going to be kind of hard for G2. They still can buy because they've been doing that half armor, full buy kind of hard, but it's still looking rough because Bastarda, she's going to have an op now. She's going to be set up in this aggressive line that maybe or maybe not G2 will have an answer for. It's looking a little bit grim. I mean, losing that round, you still have the momentum towards TL. The pause coming in from G2 makes sense because they're putting a pause to that momentum. But everything that they're talking about now, they need to fix this defense side right now. Attack side, sorry.
Reminder, this is Liquid's map pick. They're up 3 rounds on the heels of winning a best of 3 that went the distance, that was, we imagine, emotionally draining and exhausting. But the nature of the tournament is there is no time to slow down. You don't really have the opportunity or the benefit, if you will, to think things through. You just have to continue to plow forward, and that's exactly what they've done. On the other side of the timeout, we've got Bizarra, who's got the ult online. And it's a very, very split standard setup from the defense.
Yeah, and Daiki with this Odin, we've seen her put in so much work, but it's looking like they're setting up for Odin spam towards that tiles. And little does G2 know is that there are 2 players heading over there.
Standing ahead.
That was a really early paranoia off of the dart to find the target. Petra took some damage, but that's all it was. That could have been disaster.
Yep, well read by TL, but unlucky for the timing because it was a little bit too early. If they gave them a couple more seconds to walk up, would have been great to catch them off guard. All this information for G2, they break that alarm bot, and now TL is going to have some sort of answer. An answer they do have because their jet is pushed up all the way up in A main. They have all that space and all that info.
Holy free info, you're absolutely right. It does seem like G2's aware of that, though. Sarah's crouched and waiting for the aggression. Carrying precious cargo, though. The spike in hand. There's no way they know. There's no way they know anymore. There's no way they know. Bastarda strikes at just the right time, and once again, G2 left in disarray. Roxy's trying to creep B to try to find some space there. And it does look like where they're going to end, but as soon as she shows any pixel, she's dropped. And you see it now, having to pivot once more. We're on plan C or plan D at this point.
Yeah, I mean, that setup was absolutely beautiful because off of the mid pressure, Bastarda taking her A main presence, and now she's ready to fight this cat split.
Daiki here with the Odin. Bastarda's there with it as well. A prime gaming flawless for Team Liquid as they're up 4.
I love this Odin on Daiki. I think Daiki's Odin is something that is really fun to watch, especially on this ascent. She's done so good with it so far. And this flank, oh my goodness, Bastarda taking all the space. I mean, G2, they have holes in their attack, and TL is not struggling to find them at all. They're putting pressure in the early round and then rotating based on that. And G2 into their traps. They know that the alarm bot was towards mid. They're trying to default towards it, but they're fast enough.
Just unreal timing. Bastarda having to use the dash to stay away and concealed for now. Does she dare re-peek here? You see the buy for G2, it's not great. Glance has a Bulldog, Sheriff's the rest of the way. The alarm bot's keeping things back for now. Mimi the first to fall. Petra shortly thereafter joining. They're gonna try. So that's 3 on the round already. The one real gun that they had to fight back with sits harmlessly on the ground. 6 bullets left, and technically, there is an ace on the card, so she can pull it off. That's 4 on the round. Eugenia takes it, but it's back-to-back prime gaming flawlesses for Team Liquid.
Eugenia has been the ace stealer today on multiple accounts, but again, G2 looking so disconnected in that mid. They have so much util to use, but they're not using it. I mean, the dart was broken. We hear the dash away. We know there's an alarm bot close, and yet we're still running up dry. We're not using flashes. We're not using drones up close. The peaks are so disconnected one by one. They're just feeding these kills to Bastarda. And of course, Bastarda, she is warm because those shots were crispy.
18 and 12 for the duelist, with we imagine more to come. Blades online this time too. And G2 have lost, what, 5 rounds in a row? 6 rounds in a row now. It's been rough. They haven't been able to find any success, and it's not getting any better. Tip of the spear blunted, attack neutered, and now what?
Yep, that first blood going towards TL, and they're not afraid to keep hold of that space. But instead of full fighting for a main, they move 2 players towards back because they know that they've put way too much pressure there, enough to push away the other team. Now this shot going towards mid, they're trying to break this alarm bot, but they just missed it, unfortunately. And heading back towards Cat is not a good sign. And Sarah just getting caught off guard. She needs to be ready for that Bastarda push. She is feeling it.
I mean, that's the second time she just takes this free space and gets a kill for it. And both times it was on Sarah. This has fallen apart so quickly, and you know, honestly, this feels like the most dominant defensive side performance we've seen on Ascent this tournament, right? When a defense is locked in for whatever reason on this map in particular, it feels so suffocating. It feels so devastating. There's no success anywhere to be found. And honestly, Liquid right now are running circles around G2.
Yeah, I mean, they're winning rounds the same way that Daiki is suppressing fire with this Odin, because they are just winning round after round after round and looking so dominant. I mean, at this point, G2 needs to figure out how to put a stop to Bastarda. She is the support pillar of this team with those first bloods, with those setups, with the way that she's rotating or re-pushing or re-walking up into that A main. They need an answer for this A main as well. They have not been able to take it successfully yet.
This crowd is going absolutely nuts right now. Blades online, Hunter's Fury 2 looking to put the finishing touches on this map is Liquid, and it's aggression once more. They've given up A, but there's a massive flank coming around. Bastarda gets a first on the glance for the 3rd round in a row, killing somebody who doesn't get a chance to fight back. And the smoke, the only thing keeping them back. She's gone aggressive, she's going forward, and she finds another. Sarah on the counter, but where do you go from here? She's gone behind them! Sarah with 3! What a counter! But can they close out the round? They have numbers advantage, but it's just 1.
Spike planted. The lockdown on Roxy, she is going to be towards that B main, playing in a safe spot, able to put it down in whatever time that she needs, because they need to secure this round. They literally need this round. Daiki gonna start the retake. Noise with her Odin, but Jujina with a crazy one-shot to Sarah. Petra here ready to deny. And Roxy coming out and swinging with that crossfire, denying the plant. The KJ lockdown is gone, but they did secure the round.
Dude, Sarah's TP out of the smoke behind them is, I mean, that's insane. That's insane. That's actually insane. Like, TikTok type Omen plays.
Literally a Giga Chad Omen move. Like, if there was a Giga Chad Omen move, that's the one. TPing behind your enemies, knowing that there's a very small chance they could be just staring at you. That was really great by Sarah. Really cool micro plays. And now we have Mimi with that KO ult. They're looking towards mid once again, trying to see if they can capitalize off of this. So much noise towards that mid, using their util, putting a smoke down, and Cat is already up for free.
Liquid are doing such a good job of playing this defensive half. Even little things like destroying the turret on B main, knowing how many times G2 have been flanked from the extremities, it's a threat. And that's all it is, and it's such a free threat. All it took was a dart. And that comes back. There's no investment on this.
Bizarra actually pushing up towards that main, but Bastarda has done it so many times, you'd think that they would expect it and punish it, but Sarah still not ready for it. But while that was happening, Roxy just getting 2 for free on B. They don't even know that the spike is still in spawn.
Using the element of surprise, I guess, because Glance is nowhere near the site. You're absolutely right. But Bizarra continues to push forward. Up Cat now. And it feels like we've had a couple of rounds like this. This is a really messy round. It's a little sideways. They don't really know where to go. This is far from conventional. Issa's left alone in a 1v3, as it seems like we're going to play another one. Barring heroics from the Killjoy, A 1v2, she has lockdown. Mimi not able to pop her ult beforehand to counter it. So he's just gonna have a lot of room and a lot of time, and
oh my god,
Mimi almost gets caught. Issa now pushing the pace, the flash is good. And it's playing it in a position where Issa's gonna have to do so much. She's creeping forward. Athena, she's creeping forward, she's gonna take these fights! And they don't go her way. Mimi's there to greet G2 stay alive.
Wow, that was a wild round to watch. I mean, on the mini-map, we see players in spawn, players in the other side of spawn, players in cap, players on site. These 2 kills from Roxy doing work for G2 because that was a round-winning play from Roxy. Those 3Ks were so important. Like, they had so many players towards A and so many players ready to fight that TL and deny. And it was just so well played. And now we're coming into this round. We're doing another default yet again from G2, sticking to their guns. They have that KO ult. They have knives. They know that they're going to be finding a lot of pressure. Now, setting up Mimi towards Cat has been their kind of beginning early round play, and it hasn't really done much yet, but I'm wondering if they're going to try to end towards A with this KO ult.
They've really struggled to alleviate some of this pressure, this killjoy pressure mid. The alarm bot finally goes down, but the drone spots too. G2 with some options here though. Mimi has her ult, which could obviously pave the way if they can find out where this sentinel setup is. Yeah, they know that the alarm bot was mid. That's often where it is, but they don't really have confirmation of anything else right now.
Yep, the knife trying to get some info. They know that Cat is clear. They know that this is some free space to be had. Mimi just peeking into A, putting enough pressure to have some players stay towards that A side, but they have all of A main. This is not pressure, not enough pressure from the G2 side in order to pull any of these rotates because KJ just sitting in spawn, chilling. I mean, she knows that there's something up. The turret is there. Petra breaks it, and the split starting.
Petra's pushing B, but they've popped the ult and they're going to try to go A. The lurk has been dealt with, and now they just have to deal with what's in front of them. G2 a little bit battered here, but they find some space. Jujina falls. Daiki has ult, but just 5 HP.
This is going to be a hard one, and looking like TL's going to go. Yeah, they're going to go for a save. Like, that makes sense. 12-8, about to be 12-9. They only need one more round. Now, that round, Doug, G2 played it really wonderfully. Right, they knew they had all this mid space, and instead of just taking it and doing a regular split, they left Petra in that spot towards top mid. She broke the alarm bot. She broke the turret. She put so much pressure in, smoked herself off, ran in, threw herself into the action. She didn't manage to get one, I believe, but it doesn't matter because the rest of her team was splitting up towards Cat. They pulled those rotates. They pulled all that attention away from the Cat split, and they were just so ready to fight for it that it looked like TL was just like not ready at all. They kind of like pulled a fast one on them, and I think that was a really great round for G2.
You see the hit out on site. You were just talking about what Petra was playing on the other side. Mimi just found so much room, and obviously Roxy did too. I think the question that we had is, as Liquid calls a timeout, so close, yet seemingly so far, given some of the momentum that we've seen from the attacking side. I think the question was, okay, Liquid won 6 rounds in a row. G2 managed to stop the bleeding, but the question in my mind was, is the wound too big at this point? Like, is it too gaping? Can they not pull this off? And it seems like they've slowly stitched together an outrageous comeback, but it's not done yet.
Yeah, I mean, 12-9, they're just one round away, and one round means one little mistake away from winning. At the end of the day, G2 have to be almost perfect, almost flawless to be winning these next few rounds. And again, we've seen these TL pauses. We know that a lot of their momentum, a lot of the rounds that they win are because of the pauses, because of the regrouping that the coach has with the players. And maybe this might just be where they're going to find the holes, the gaps in their defense and understand. Because before, Bastardo were just taking space and pushing. But now that G2 has shut that down, they need to find a new way to go around this.
What's the call on the other side of the timeout? Again, Daiki has the Hunter's Fury. Jujina has her ult too. And it seems like they just want to play a little soft on B. Issa dropping some utility. G2 haven't really seemed concerned or interested in like a fast like 5-man hit or anything like that. They've been very content, honestly. Some comeback and a little bit. They've managed to deal with the fact that there's constant in the extremities. That's really slowed Liquid down.
Yeah. Feels like they knew that TL doesn't know how to deal with this mid pressure unless they have that operator. Now that knife scanning 2 players towards mid. They were set up for that mid setup, but it doesn't matter because the mid trap is broken. They've stacked towards the A site. TL knows that this is where G2 is trying to end.
Oh, what a flash and what a swing. Goes unpunished. Petra tries to get another, but she swings into 4. It's all crumbling on the other side of the timeout. You're absolutely right. Liquid put G2 away, potentially in flawless fashion. The crowd comes back to life as things are closed out. A 1-0 series lead for Team Liquid.
A prime gaming flawless to end the game, and what a flawless round it was. They knew that G2 was reacting off of the pressure. They knew that G2 was reacting really well, I must say, off of the information. They wanted to play towards that mid, but again, not much that they could do.
You see it again, the setup was so good, you're absolutely right. And that was exactly what they needed on the other side of the timeout. That seems to be their buff, and it seems to be what they need. We'll see you guys on the other side of this break. Don't go anywhere.
When you play an actual ranked game, it's 50 minutes, but how much are you actually shooting? With AimLabs, you can compete in over 1,000 tasks that will prepare you for any scenario in any game. So the new ranked season, you play, you get points, you can compare yourself to your friends. With AimLabs' new one-to-one Valorant maps, you get instant feedback on how to get better crosshair placement, better peak efficiency. You can also instantly modify existing tasks with Discovery. Get started today by downloading AimLabs for free and join millions of other satisfied players.
Red Bull gives you wings.
When you embrace all my impurities, when you embrace all my impurities, when you embrace all my impurities, and I feel clean again. Don't hide the bruise when you know I'm watching, baby. Don't hide the bruise when you know I'm watching, baby. Don't hide the bruise. I know it's hard to be alive sometimes. I radiate like a star, like a star, star, star. I radiate like a star, like a star, star, star. I radiate like a star, like a star.
Hello everyone, we're joined here with Palestra from Team Liquid. You guys must be absolutely buzzing right now. You're on a hot streak. You just won against SMG. You're winning your map pick against G2. What is it like to be potentially one map away from being in the finals up against Shopify?
Feels good, but it's not the end. We need to win another map. Now is their peak, so we'll try to do a different kind of stuff that we did on last Lotus. We did a good defense on the last map, last Lotus that we played, and right now we're going to try to make that defense good again, but now the attack will be the different side for us. Last time we didn't put any rounds as attack side, so right now we are trying to put some rhythm on them and try to show them how our attack is on Lotus.
All right, we can be expecting a little surprise. Thank you so much for that info. We're looking forward to it. Good luck out there. Bye, guys.
Wow, they just took a scent, but they're already talking about Lotus and they feel like they're ready for it. But if you missed that map, it was a very interesting one to say the least, Sapphire.
Yeah, it started off in the first half. It was really an IGL masterclass from both sides. We saw some really interesting moments. Obviously from Team Liquid, they pulled out the classic on their attacker side. They looked for that opening frag, and then they wait and they wait. And they were waiting for those Petra pushes, and they caught them off guard a lot. But also G2, they still kept it close because they had some really nice set plays of their own.
Yeah, I do recall that there was a really interesting one that I think that you're about to break down, Baby Bay.
Yeah, round 7 here. It was a beautiful round out of G2, and it starts with Petrozop here holding this off angle on B main, and it's all a bait setup here. So the smoke comes out, flash hits, Petra still gets a kill because she just shoots off of the KO flash. And what I want to detail here is this Sova dart to sell this bait and switch. And an Omen smoke comes out here too. So right now, the enemy team from Team Liquid, they're all worried about the Jet. You know, they had to do multiple things to get her off the lines and stuff like that. But this is all util to sell the fake for the KO, and Mimi ends up going huge. And just small details here, Petra shooting the KJ ult to make sure that if the molly does miss, or G2 Mimi's timing is off on the molly for like a second, it still will break no matter what. And to pop the knives here and to just go bananas here and kill another one in Omen. And here's Mimi's POV of it as well. Just getting a 3K. They're not aware at all, and it's all because of the small details of the dart, the Omen smoke coming out, and the updraft to distract them.
Yeah, there were like so many things that went right for G2 in this round, right? But of course, this went over to Team Liquid, and I love what you brought up earlier, Sapphire, about how, you know, they would wait for the first pick and then just like back off a little bit, wait for G2 to kind of regroup and say, what was that? It was like they were a shark in the water, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And that's because that's where Sarah picked up some big plays. And obviously she had a slower start to the tournament and then have a really dominant performance in this map. Unfortunately, it just wasn't enough because some of their other stars, like Petra, like Mimi, weren't necessarily playing up to their potential.
Yeah, and I feel like, you know, it was probably because they were caught off guard by Team Liquid, you know, doing things that were a little bit different. And plus, you know, the momentum that they were on, especially on the kills of Bastarda, who was just amazing. The matchup, by the way, between Petra and Bastarda was amazing.
Yeah, and she was really confident going into these rounds, especially on the eco round in mid. She's not afraid to fight and everything, and that's what you want out of your duelist player. You want your duelist player to have the confidence to take these aim duels, even if they're on an eco. And yeah, you could get one dig and things could not go your way, but when it does, wow, it looks amazing. And another ace was stolen, by the way.
Yes, we thought she was gonna get it, right? But of course, she will get the MVP for that. Sarah, on the other end, though, I do remember a very memorable play that she had where she TP'd onto the back. I think, like, you know, there was a clash and then she was there in the back. It was just so gutsy,
crazy.
and there were just so many plays like that. And we are just on map 1, everybody. So I feel like we're in for a long, you know, 2-1 series, baby babe. I called you out just a bit.
You know what? It is what it is, but I did like what I saw from G2, like trying to make a comeback and getting a little bit of momentum in their way. And yeah, I think, you know, I was worried about Liquid not having enough energy, but I think that crowd, like I said, was going to give it to them, and they looked really, really good. I'm not going to lie.
Well, speaking of G2, let's hear what a G2 coach Carcass has to say ahead of Map 2.
Ginny here, and we have Carcass from G2 Gozen. Thank you for joining us. We're looking at Team Liquid right now. They're on a hot streak. They want to send back-to-back. Lotus coming up next, a map that Petra yesterday had a phenomenal game on. Do you think that's going to be enough?
We will see. They're playing amazing. They're much better than they were like in the first day when we faced them and when we knocked them down to lower brackets. Yeah, they came back here, and I mean, they're playing much better, as I said. But we're gonna do our best, to go on top. Like, we want to be in the grand finals again.
All right. Well, thank you so much for that. Hopefully, we see you guys there. Good luck on the server.
I love what Carcass mentioned about, you know, they're playing a lot better than they were, and we're actually seeing Team Liquid evolving as the tournament goes on, right? We saw with SMG earlier as well. They were kind of adapting some of their strategies, and now the Team Liquid that's playing over here is very different from the Team Liquid that was playing from day one.
It's a very different Team Liquid, especially the ones that had to play against G2 to open up this entire tournament. Right now, we see so many more ideas on their attacker side. Again, relying on what got them to this tournament. It's that strategy that Daiki has talked about since 2022, just saying, you know what, we get that frag, we hunt that down, we wait, we group, and we attack together. And that's what worked out really well, and we're going to need to see that on Lotus today, because against G2 a couple of days ago, they really struggled on the attack side. They could not find any of those opening frags.
Yeah, and the utility is going to be key here. Like, something that they did really well on that Ascent map was making sure they didn't get picked off too early, because you saw earlier in the half against G2, G2 was actually winning a lot of the early rounds because they were getting the first bloods. And yeah, a little bit was random, you know, shots through smoke and stuff like that from Petra. But there's things that you can do to mitigate that, you know? Like, for example, like when Petra was posted on lines with the AWP, they were using a lot of good utility, Omen flash, or, you know, KO flashes with the jet smoke paired on top of it. So they need to use their utility, chain it together like they have been doing, and then bait these rotations out and play the long game, the slow game.
Actually, looking at G2 right now, they don't seem phased too much. I think they're pretty proud of the performance that they gave out. You can see Petra has a big smile on her face right now. Of course, Team Liquid looking as confident as ever. You wouldn't have thought that this is their second series of the day, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I think at some point, wasn't it like 6-12, 6-11 or something? And, you know, it looked like they were going to lose that, and then they started to close the gap. And again, we talked about Team Liquid has been on the stage now for a couple hours today, whereas G2, they had to warm up. And so that last map, they're probably considering that's our warm-up for the day, and now we're going to look much better on our own map pick.
Yeah, so the cool thing about this map pick for Team Liquid side is that they get to prep, because last time they played them on this map, they got absolutely destroyed, you know what I mean? And you can actually change your entire game plan, and you already know what the side of G2 is going to do. G2 can't adapt to anything that Team Liquid did because they just rolled them the first time they played. So this could really work in favor for Liquid.
I'm not sure what Isa and Jujina were playing right there. It seemed to be some kind of game, but I love that you brought that out. I mean, a lot of teams, for example, like, you know, once they show the cards that are in their hand, suddenly they have to take it back and then come up with another set entirely as we head into this map. And we are going into our Prime Gaming Asia Select right now for map 2, which will be Lotus. And no big surprises yet here. What are you thinking, Sapphire? We're seeing a lot of control.
Yeah, this is exactly what we saw the last time these two teams faced off. The only difference is the Astra versus the Omen, but otherwise, yeah, it's a very controller-heavy comp here.
Yeah, and I think this map is going to just come down to how fast will G2 adapt to the changes that Liquid made from the first time they played till now. And G2 is a team who, like, commend themselves for being able to adapt on the fly and doing all these things. That's what they said in the first series against Team Liquid, especially on that Sunset map. That's what they said got them the victory. So let's see how fast they can make adaptations and see how it goes.
I am liking the Astra pick as well for Team Liquid based on their style earlier. That's bound to make a lot of feints a lot easier. But let's find out if this series makes it to a third map, and we will send it back to your casters once again. Here's Doug and Athena.
Thank you so much, Mika. Yeah, I mean, for this to turn over towards Lotus, where we've seen so many ridiculous things in this tournament already, just feels so fitting. Again, an opportunity for Liquid to shock the world and really lean into this dark horse opportunity if they're able to take down G2 on what would be G2's map.
Yeah, no 4 duelist comp, but we do have the Astra, so it is going to be a little bit of a different comp on either side to see how they fight. And the A-main fight is so strong. 4 players from either side fighting towards here, and it's going to go the way of TL 4v2.
What a banger of a start. It really feels like Liquid are just getting everything falling their way at just the right time. Even just winning that, I mean, you know it's going to be a scrap A main at the beginning, right? Like, that's just kind of standard with the way that the map plays. It just goes so perfectly for Liquid. It's not even that they walked away with the numbers advantage. They're all healed back up.
Yeah.
They have ghosts. They have so many things that are in their favor right now.
Yeah, G2 trying to walk up and see if they can get some sort of info without full fighting and prodding as much as they can, but Sarah in behind gets Issa, and now it's down to a 4v3, but again, like you said, so much util.
They've cleared the turret. They still have the Astra util they're going to have to deal with. The gravity well, daring the swing. There's no, like, oh, actually, there is a bit of a flank here. If they're not careful about it, Sarah with 1. That's all it's going to be. Another pistol in favor of Liquid. I believe they won the first 2, too, didn't they?
Yeah. What a jump scare for Daiki.
Yeah.
Winning pistol seems to be TL's game today. They are going to start with the Vandal right away on Vizera. This is really good because Lotus is such a long-range map, right? You want to take these long-range fights, and especially as a Sentinel where you can hold down the site against a team where the only space that they can make is with Petra with those satchels. Right. It's going to be super important. Team Liquid, really, really solid showing so far. The way they played, the way they set up ceiling, the way that they had util for everything, and that's why I like this Astra as well. Like playing that post pawn is gonna be so much stronger than G2 comp.
Oh, that Guardian's tough at that distance, but fortunately Bizarre's there to help. The turret was involved in the action. Now everybody kind of clumping up and seeing if they can get any kills, pad their stats, get closer to their ults. Ooh. Is that a little shooting of the body? Is that what I saw there? Ooh. Oh my.
Yeah, I think it was. I think we just maybe saw it again.
Oh my. Yeah, Liquid's off that Prime Gaming Flawless. Liquid is feeling it. The crowd is too. I mean, they realize what's at stake right now. Remember, last year, 3rd place finish, and now an opportunity to exceed that.
Yeah, Bizarra just standing outside of that B main with that Vandal, putting it to work. We were just talking about long-range duels and long-range duels. It was. And yes, Doug, 3rd place finish. You want to break that curse. And when is the time to do it? It is now. But they do have the Giants of G2 to face. Now this heavy A-main control from this defense side is probably going to cause some sort of rotation from the attack side. You don't want to fight it. At the end of the day, they do have a little bit more on util on the defense side with that paranoia and with those nades to hold it down. But retaking towards the C is going to be really, really good call. There is a double sentry here though. They need to use a lot of util to get out onto that site.
Tapping of the door, some KJ util B. They're playing pretty far up too. That smoke is going to spot 1, but that's all it was. It seems like Petra's going to take the long way around and try to apply some pressure from heaven. They're scaling really far up. They just want to take these fights. They want to scrap, and this bonus would be huge for Liquid if they can pull it off, and so far, so good.
Yeah, I mean, taking that space so smart because, again, you get to play these post plants where you have the Astra Star to be the initial delay, and then you have the mollies. But Petra's here to save the day with 2 kills.
Glance is getting another, but time has been ticking away a little bit here. Gugina with no armor. Mimi weak. Lands a shot anyway. It's got to be Daiki, of course. Who else? She's been a hero. Oh, that swing was gross, but it's not going to be enough.
Don't even
Whoa.
start that shit.
G2, a massive round.
That was wild. It did not look like G2 was going to win that round, but they did. Still, Doug, that was such an expensive round. Luckily for G2, they have been doing this buy where they only get half armor. We still have the Ares on Roxy, which I think could work, especially as a Senti on that C side. If you set up, you spam off your util, not much to be worried about, but Petra absolutely saving the day because that was looking like an amazing post round for TL. They still had an Astra Star left. They still had 2 players alive. It was looking so, so good with Petra again. Wow.
Satchel's forward, flashes out, and TP's up. They've taken all of that space towards A already. Meanwhile, the rest of Liquid are exploring B. The dog already drawn out for Mimi. And now an inevitable pause in the action. Oh, Mimi so close to finding one, but it's Masada who wins that duel out.
TL has been doing amazing at putting pressure in this front B, taking the space. They know it's not super heavily contested, and now that they got that pick onto B, it's going to be so easy for them to regroup and just hit, but Gozen dropping, trying to poke and prod towards that A side. It's going to cause TL to commit towards that B.
And commit they do, the Satchel forward, the alarm bot deep. And they're going to be able to deal with the flank that's inevitably coming from G2. You see it on the mini-map. Mimi and Glance both trying to take some of the space away. The turret covering things. Jujina precariously placed. The paranoia gives everything away. So well considered. But Daiki's there to help. And you still have Bizarro who's playing far off. It's all left onto Glance now. It's just not interested.
Yeah,
just not interested.
Kind of hard for G2 to win that round out again. I'm sounding like a broken record, but these post hunts for TL are so important. G2 need to deny this space a lot earlier. I mean, they tried walking up and fighting that B main, but they just did it without any util. And again, G2 just getting caught off guard. They allow that first pick to go. I mean, the trade, they tried retaking space towards that A line, but unfortunately TL already had 4 players in front of B ready to react together. They were just waiting to see if Issa could find something, waiting to see if she could unlock some sort of crazy lurk so they could potentially fake or potentially end towards A or do a split, but instead just the reactions. And again, the space that they take, the way that they play post plan, it's clear that they're picking their comp for a reason, and it's clear that G2 needs to do something a little bit more aggressive to fight for that B main.
Well, that's what they're doing. You have 3 set up here. Paranoia set up off of Glance, you imagine. But Liquid not interested in that area of the map right now, although Jujina could be caught on the rotate because G2 have taken so much of the space already, and she understands there's pressure. She knows that she's being surrounded. The question is, what do the rest of Liquid do off of this? Roxy's in a really good spot, but just really doesn't have the weaponry to fight back with.
Yeah, that dog getting info onto the KJ, but it's not enough for G2 to do anything off of Mimi getting a kill, but the rest of her team dropping, and now the full site is free. They can try to get this Jujina. They know that she was really late towards this A site.
The problem, I mean, Glance has upgraded a weapon. Mimi's gotten another kill. They're investing the lockdown here. Perhaps not feeling comfortable with what's kind of been going on. You see a couple of things start to slip away, and it's just better to play it safe, invest, and make sure you secure the round. That's exactly what Liquid do. And every round that passes, every round that Liquid wins, every step that they get closer to the grand final, this crowd gets a little bit louder.
Yeah, the crowd absolutely crazy, and for a reason. TL playing so well, so put together on this map almost. They definitely came in with a game plan. They knew what they wanted to do. They're finding the holes in G2's defense and making them second guess. They put pressure B main for the first 3 to 4 rounds, and now the one time that G2 pushes towards that B main, their whole team is in A already. Like, it's really well played. This is textbook VALORANT, textbook defaulting and understanding the push and pull method where you just put pressure and make them rotate.
Well, the problem is, it feels like right now G2 are reading a different textbook.
Yeah.
Right? It seems like they're a chapter behind in how things have played out. Even just pointing out what you just mentioned, you lull them into expecting something, and then just when you know they're going to swap, you hit something else. This has been a masterclass from Team Liquid, and they find themselves up 3 rounds. They're already drawing out timeouts from G2. This is great.
Yeah, this is exactly what we're talking about when you say that you're forcing the other team to play at your pace and play your game.
Absolutely.
TL is forcing G2 to play their game. The second that they're trying to find them and pick up the breadcrumbs and find their trails, they're not there. They're somewhere else. And they're abusing the gaps that they've created for G2. And now this 1-4 lead looking pretty scary. But Mimi, she has those secrets. They have Petra's ult. They're setting up towards some sort of B main hit or B main pressure. So maybe this is going to be a battle.
It has the potential to be explosive right off the bat if they get just what they're looking for. What's the cue? You got the paranoia set up. It's a swing. Petra pops the ult, and there it is. The flash in the face as she connects onto another. Now finding success on this early aggression B.
Scout destroyed.
Eugene is spotting Sarah. And Liquid for the first time, really what feels like all map. They're having to reset, pause for a moment. Scaling up with the orb, taking some space away. Going on an exploratory mission.
Yeah, Issa knows that this site is being played in a retake fashion right now. That's why she's not scared to take all this space. But she's actually going to push up and try to take this fight to equalize numbers. But Roxy just there, ready to put that pressure. The rest of the team, sorry, to be ending towards this beat because they couldn't get that A space. They wanted to do some sort of split, get some sort of numbers, but now they're going to have to do something desperate to get these.
This looks like desperation. Spamming through, I thought for a moment they were going to commit. Petra goes flying out of the smoke into her death. And Eugene is left in a 1v4. Not going to come to fruition. G2 punch back.
Yep, what around G2 finally gambling on the right call, the right setup, the right trap play towards that B. Just walking up and instantly using Yuto off of contact. That was really, really good. This is something that, I mean, TL loves to use heavy B main pressure in order to force the other team to rotate or to get more information or to think that they're going to be ending towards that site. So it's going to be interesting to see if TL is going to commit to keep doing this method, and it looks like they are. They're 1-3-1ing towards that B main. And so all this noise outside of A main is going to be communicated, and they're going to know that they're heavy. Maybe a speed up, maybe a C split, maybe going through the door and farming these orbs. I mean, they know that they're pushed up towards A main.
Screen down.
The longer they wait here on this freeze, the more the pressure feels weighted by G2. You start to see some of the spam. Issa gets tagged up. Yeah, they're close. If there was doubt before, it's confirmed now.
Yep, TL falling back to regroup towards that A main. They're hearing a lot of movement, and they're not scared to re-clear this. It's going to be a 3v1. Glance just sitting here, trying to hold by herself, but if they burst with a flash or some sort of util, it's going to be over.
Massive, not able to get the second. Whoa, we're investing the ult here. They want to push forward. The site's going to be entirely open. And it does. There is a setup for a late flank out from Jujina. See on the minimap, she's creeping up towards B main. Keep a close eye on her. They've dropped the pit. They have a lot of tools here to convert this round.
Yeah, this post plant's going to be a little bit scary. Jujina is close, but she's also just a tiny bit too far. She saw stars on her to delay that post plant. These three players, they have to delay for as long as possible in order for this lurk to be effective.
With every second that ticks away, a little bit of space is taken. And the pit continues to be a problem. It persists. Petra finally getting onto there. But Issa's still up. And now the flank is coming through. The pit's going to come down, but Jujina's timing is perfect. She's got to hit the spam, and she does!
Jujina!
The Red Bull clutch for Liquid just at the right time.
My goodness, exactly like I'm saying, they have to delay for long enough. The Astra Star, the Astra Lurk, absolutely beautiful, stunning round from Jujina. Her teammates dropping dead, but it doesn't matter. They did eventually delay for just about long enough. It's such a beautiful spray down. It wasn't even planted for her, but it does not matter because that spray was just beautiful. And now we have another force buy coming in from G2. I say force buy because Mimi, she only has that sheriff towards that A site.
Convinced that it's the right time to invest. Drop the nade. We haven't really seen an aggressive C hit. Petra's already fallen.
I've got your trail.
I mean, everything's working for Team Liquid now. Not going to have any late flank or anything like that this time around. G2 are much better poised to fight back. Never mind for this retake. Bastarda's in their face. The nade in their lap dissuades, and then she takes more. This is just so aggressive and so confident.
Yeah, I mean, they know that they have to play up once they've lost one of their post plants on Jujina, but Bastarda, I don't even think she's pushing for space. I think she's pushing because she's feeling it. She knows she can get these ones and win her fights. And that 3K is so crazy, so crisp.
Well,
such a good round.
And honestly, because of the investment that from G2 that we were talking about at the beginning of the round, they have to cut their losses.
Yeah.
In another circumstance, maybe you risk it a little bit more and try to get something going. But given their force, they have to keep anything they possibly can into this next round. So you see the save come through, Liquid with the 4-round lead, but G2 will have 2 rifles going into the next.
Yep, it really goes to show. I mean, G2, they're losing this momentum. Their buy is rough. The plays are rough. The setups, I mean, the only thing that worked was a trap play where the other team just happened to go in their direction.
You're
and
absolutely
now
right.
it's like, you know, what do we do? What do we change to fix this? I mean, the holds are just so hard for G2. They have the Astra Suck, they have the nades, they have the mollies. Like, it's so hard to hold on the actual site unless you're fighting up into the main. So maybe a little bit more aggression, but for this round, they do have 2 Vandals that they saved, 2 Sheriffs, and just a Bucky on Roxy.
Toxin screen down.
They're expecting something aggressive. Dog forward a little bit, clearing out every corner. With that, that's another kill. Yeah, this is great for Liquid once more. Mimi trying to dodge around, try to stay alive. She is the one with the Vandal. And that is the only thing left standing.
What a lurk from Issa.
I mean, they're making a statement here.
Spike planted.
There's no denying it. They're not concerned about who's on the other side of the stage. They're not concerned about the names in the server. Oof. They're looking to make history.
TL. Wow, that was great. I mean, they're just playing to their strengths at this point. I mean, they know when they're doing this B-main trap. They know when they're doing some sort of A-main fight. They've seen everything that G2 has had to offer already and has countered it. Issa with this beautiful lurk, she's taking the space. She knows that Killjoy is playing retake towards site once again. And as soon as she gets that information, she's not afraid to push up and take that free space. Really good communication from TL overall. But we now have a gun round again from G2 with 4 ults, Doug.
They've got to convert here. And they're going to try, but they've gone aggressive off of the flash. It's gorgeous. But Satan and Bizarre get a couple of glances there on the trade. And now the spike out of reach. Glance able to play this really as confidently as she wants.
3v3, a lot of time on the clock to grab this spike. I don't think TL is too worried about it right now. Just holding, trying to see where the gaps are in their defenses. G2 opting to kind of come close together, hold it. I think that's smart. Because again, they don't have that much util to get this. They don't have flashes, they don't have Dog, they don't have Roomba on the TL side. All they have are mollies and stars, which isn't really going to be the best way to retake this.
This fight is going to erupt on Mount at any moment there, and there it was. Glance was in a really good spot. Sarah was there to help. Issa in the 1v2, and it's doable. Tries to land the first, whiffs, doesn't on the second. But Roxy puts a bullet between Issa's eyes as G2 get their 3rd.
Finally, the right gamble from G2. We've been talking about how they have to gamble these trap plays, these fights, these aggressions, and finally TL fall into their hands once again. So far, the rounds that they're winning is when TL has just gambled right into their traps, but these kills so beautiful, so fast of G2 to come set up in a beautiful crossfire where they're ready for everything. They know there's no flashes, no one has to play anti, everyone's just ready to swing and trade together, and I think that this could be a little bit of a momentum turner for G2.
I mean, they desperately need it. Still in a position to keep this half competitive. Aggression on C. They've taken so much space already. They still have those 4 ults we talked about in the previous round. Sarah might be in trouble, although Roxy is here with her. Meanwhile, there's a fight that's going to be happening mid as well, as they've lost A. They haven't cleared tree, though. And Eugenia's in a spot to control the rotate. Only one is found, but that one might be enough. Issa's gonna have so much to do here. She understands you got the Seekers, you got a flash in your face. That's so difficult.
Yeah, the reaction towards B really fast, really quick by TL, and it actually worked out great because they knew that everyone that pushed through C is flanking and everyone else is on A. Daiki getting the pick onto Mimi, and now this lockdown goes down just to set enough time away so they can get ready for this post-plant raise, already rotating all the way through spawn, getting that upper control. Petra coming out with the ult, but no one is close enough for her to find.
She's created some space, but that's all it is. And is she expecting Bizarra, who's going to be coming around the corner? Sarah on the defuse. She's already gotten it 3/4 of the way. Sticks at half. And Bizarra cleans things up. Yeah, the ult was used, but a great hold from Liquid.
Again, these post plants are so hard for G2 to counter when TL is just getting all of that space. Again, Liquid pushing through that C link, understanding that no one is in spawn. Bastarda going for a really great spawn wrap into upper. That was all played absolutely beautifully, even though they were a player down. Jujina holding that flank, she managed to get one, but it doesn't matter because the reactions at the end of the day is what's making this team win and win over. And now we're going to see them heading towards some sort of fake A pressure from TL side towards that A main, but we still have Raze and KJ holding that C. They're getting some sort of info. The 2 flashes coming in from Daiki, they know that they're playing up close towards that A main based on that, and they're going to choose not to go that way.
Opting to lean towards C instead. The flash coming through. Issa wants to take this fight. And, well, that might have been a bit too much, although she does have help. Jujina's coming over, pushing it for mid, and they have no idea she's there. Gorgeous timing. They're playing so well together right now. Jujina's going to try to get another. Meanwhile, Daiki dies to a spit over on C. The spike is picked up. This is still winnable for G2.
Yeah, 2v2, Jujina low on health. They're opting to go back towards that B. They know that KJ is on C, the lockdown is down. They know that Sky was pushed up towards it, but they don't know that they're grouping up towards the spawn.
They have a Cosmic Divide too.
You are divided!
Right on cue. The alarm bot is behind the wall too. Very nicely played. She doesn't know. She had no idea. Jujina's weak. 31 HP. Waiting for the wall. Roxy's there on the swing. Dude, these G2 girls, they feel so clutch. Man, they just feel so clutch. Exactly when their team needs something big, they deliver.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, on C, that was like really, really interesting because I actually saw a kill on TL going towards Sarah with her Molly. So the hold, the defensive side hold on G2 was really well.
8-4 half in favor of Team Liquid. Potential history on the cards. We're going to throw it down to the desk to break down that first half.
G2's map pick, but it doesn't seem like you can catch Team Liquid off guard with anything. They have come prepared for this very moment, and it's actually quite frightening.
Yeah, what a fantastic attack side from them. Like, again, doing a lot to find that opening frag, but on this map, they're taking the extremities. They're looking for those on A, on C. They're getting that opening frag, and then they're mostly regrouping B, but usually leaving like one player, A or C, and they have a nice flank on those retakes.
And it is now time for our Hyper X Reflex moment of the day, and this one goes to Jojina, which had us up in arms here, baby.
Yeah, this was crazy, and it's all because of what Heather was talking about, this 1-3-1 default they were doing. Jojina lurked all the way through B on a timing of this turret that went down for a split second and then gets the collat on the diffuser. It was the most insane timing I think I've seen in this tournament so far.
Just the instinct to be able to do that, right?
Yeah.
It's like Jojina has been on point with all of these clutches so far. I mean, we've seen her perform this way since yesterday.
Yeah, she really, she wasn't a player that we necessarily talked about when this tournament started, but wow, she has our attention now. And that round not only just like gave them so much momentum and energy, but like it kicked off a sizable win streak.
Yeah, and I think that Daiki also had a lot of great plays and a lot of great calls in this round.
Yeah, and how about Issa just shooting bodies like round 3, round 2, round 3. Like, they are so confident going into this, and they want it so bad. But nevertheless, this is not a bad half for G2. This map is an attacker side. They need to start by winning the pistol. If they don't, I don't know. I don't know what to say.
Well, they said that they had something up their sleeves. When we talked to Carcass earlier, they mentioned that, they were prepared for this. Perhaps it will show up on the second half. Perhaps Team Liquid is just doing that chameleon technique again. It's like, okay, you have something prepared, G2. We can find out what exactly that will be. But let's get the second half underway. We're going to toss it on back to our casters, Doug and Athena.
Thank you so much. This pistol could not be more important for G2 here. You know, Baby Bay put it quite beautifully. He has no idea what to say, right? If they don't win this pistol, then what?
Yeah,
it's over.
8-4. It is a big lead for TL. 4 rounds. They win the pistol. It goes up to 6. Like, that is really hard to come back from. So, yes, definitely a super important pistol. And we're going to see them doing a lot of pressure towards Mimi with that dog and Flash.
Oh,
but the rest of the team is walked up to the
Oh, my gosh, they had no idea. What a start for G2.
Wow, both teams contacting up, but neither side was, but TL was not ready to see G2 on the other side of that wall. They already crossed through. They thought the dog and the Flash was enough pressure for them to assume that maybe there's only one player towards here. They were not ready for the Avengers to just show up at their door. That was crazy. The orb not going down until they saw someone. Really well played by G2. They just walked up TL.
I mean, that was a mad call.
Yeah.
And again, a desperately needed pistol. To keep things competitive, to lean into the fact that this map tends to lean towards the attacking side, I think is huge.
Yeah, and I think that the difference between Omen and Astra here is super important because Omen can kind of TP on top of that rubble and make sure that those kinds of plays don't happen. They don't have that Omen. They don't have that verticality ready in order to counter any of these plays. So Astra, you know, you got to be way more careful with that kind of stuff towards A main. Fighting A main is going to be a little bit harder. You're going to have to use a little bit more control. The stars, the subs, the stuns from Astra, you're going to have to use a lot more because you don't have that Omen to look over that orb.
Roxy was plenty of reason to smile after that round. I mean, they were decayed. They had no shot.
Yeah.
So exactly what they needed, and they've invested into it. 2 Bulldogs, a Vandal, and a Guardian for the attacking side. And as is the case in situations like this, you want to get out of this as cleanly as possible, keep all the weapons that you can, and carry it into the next.
Yep, just a standard setup from TL here, looking to quickly rotate wherever the pressure goes. Sarah walking up, trying to find some sort of lurk. I mean, she only has a ghost. Not that big of a deal if she's away from her team. The dog getting all that information towards C. Actually, all the players on C hiding from it. TL did not give the information, but Mimi getting the initial pick onto Issa, walking up way too early.
Clean shots up from Sarah, too. Dropping Jujina, alleviating some of that pressure. And now G2 should have a much more comfortable attempt at this. I mean, there's really nowhere to go. If you're trying to play backside there, you have a Flash coming around one side, the nade coming around the other. That's 3 on the round for Mimi. And it's just Daiki that remains. And Daiki's been good, don't get me wrong. But not this one. A prime gaming flawless as G2 bridged the gap ever so slightly.
I mean, you literally just talked about how G2 need that pistol. Yes, they needed it, and they got it, and now there's only a 2-round differential. What felt like kind of a landslide from TL that first half, all of a sudden, just like that, has closed down to only 2 rounds. Now with a bonus from G2, the gun round from TL, hopefully they can hold this down if they want to keep their lead. But G2 is looking to fight for this round. They're going to start towards that A main. They are all grouped up. Just a standard setup after playing with KJ utility towards A. Could be a little good, could be really good to delay just long enough for the team to rotate. But again, this rotate is going to be really good. Look, Viper has full C-line. She knows that no one is there. Sky already flooding towards that A site, and the tree is going to try to be held by Jujina.
The thing too is G2 they have to use some utility in order to take this A main space, right? So yeah, they have that utility that they've used. They've gained this space, and it was uncontested. So Liquid don't have to really navigate any of that stuff yet. And that forces G2 to pause for just a moment. Either wait for refreshed utility to come back up, or play around what they have left. Petra clearing out the turret, leaving Liquid with more questions than they have answers right now.
Yeah, G2 probably going to regress to that A because they saw the raise, they saw the KJ utility, and I lied, they're going back towards B after seeing that there's so much more pressure. Bastarda with the first kill, and now this B postman needs to have some sort of push to equalize numbers.
Can Petra find any way to relieve some of this pressure?
Spike planted.
She's got a firing squad behind her. Look at the ones who are going to have to go forward here. Daiki does have a flash, but it's just a dangerous, my goodness, what a dangerous game Petra's playing. Getting healed back up. As Liquid have been patient with this one. Choosing not to strike quite yet, and it's going to be off the timing for the flank. Jujina can find some of this. It's going to be great, but they cleared the turret. Petra just snaps on Issa. That was dirty. Looking for another. The defenses have fallen apart. Daiki and Bizarro with nothing to do here. Glance and Roxy are still so healthy, but it's all on to Glance. Time is short.
Oh, do they have it?
Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. 1 second. The difference maker there.
I mean, that was looking... I mean, TL was waiting for so long that it even gave time for... it even gave Roxy time to turn around and kill the flanker and then come all the way back and help her team on site. They took so long on that. That was super risky. They were definitely cooking some sort of retake on that. But either way, round goes to TL. Definitely super scary, but they still managed to get it to 9-6.
I mean, you can see the questions on the coaches' faces, the players' faces. Would that defuse come through? Some of the narrowest of margins. And a couple of kills already being traded.
The difference between TL and G2, they aren't scared to fight for that B main, even if it's just with bodies. They don't need a trap setup to do that, but the C...
Oh, Petra went. And Issa went harder. The satchel out, the nade, or the ult used, it doesn't find a target. Petra pays for it with her life.
Toxin screen down.
You see G2 starting to explore the map a little bit more. And much like you've said, in situations like this, you have to gamble a little bit, right? You have to be willing to take a little bit more space than you normally would in order to try to equalize things and get them back on fair footing. This numbers deficit they find themselves in right now is difficult.
Yeah, I mean, they're taking the site. They knew the alarm bot was there. They knew that the other team is probably going to rotate pretty early on because they broke that alarm bot so long ago. But again, TL, setting up for this retake. G2 is taking that space, exactly what you just mentioned, where they feel like they're pressured into doing that. TL not ready for it. G2 gets 2 kills right off the bat.
And that's exactly what they needed. Again, back to fair footing. G2 so much healthier right now. Daiki weak, having to go forward first. Lance doesn't have a paranoia or anything like that. She almost landed this shot anyway. Issa has gotten its half, a little bit more time to take the fight. But the fight goes in favor of Glance. G2 keep it close.
Wow, that was so crazy. That went so back and forth so many times. Again, TL, they keep setting up for this retake from Heaven, which I'm not fully understanding. They're fully giving up the C link and allowing the other team to take their time to set up into the post plan. We've talked about how TL are so good at doing these fast floods, these fast retakes, how they hold on to the site for so long to the point where their teammates are ready to rotate. But because they're playing off site on B, it seems like they have this sort of set retake, I guess, to go from Heaven, but it's not working out for them.
Yeah.
And they definitely cannot just get pushed like that if they're trying to set up for that Heaven. They need to have someone holding it, ready to get those frags.
Yeah, I imagine that's part of the conversation right now. I think on the other side, you've got to commend G2 on understanding what the win condition was in that situation, applying it perfectly, and again, getting a 7th round. Timeout called from Liquid, their first of the map. They still have one more to work with. Jujina clears calm. I don't think I can have an opinion. This is a lose-lose. I shouldn't have read the sign.
Yeah.
I should have just left
So
it.
what's your opinion?
2-round lead for Liquid. Timeout being worked. And we'll see. I mean, you've got a couple of ults that are close by here. For Team Liquid, they have Daiki who's close, Bizarro who's close, but the buy's not great.
Yep, these Sheriffs, they're going to have to put them to work, and they're choosing to start 3 towards the say. They're going to be fighting for this aiming pressure, and like I said, they're going to need a lot more util to fight for this, and we see the 2 stars down already from Astra. Hopefully this util is enough to get them a couple of kills, because that's what they really need. Walking up, but again, they keep doing this contact play, which just isn't working. As soon as I say that, Jujina actually equalize his numbers by getting a kill herself, but that's not what you want to do. You want to overuse your util, especially if you don't have the right guns for it.
You can't even, I mean, you win the gunfight, but you're not in a position to upgrade the weapon either. This is, yes, it's a weapon out of the hands of G2 and a player off the map, but you haven't really accomplished a ton. Even with that, though, G2's they're playing this very respectfully. They're playing this very cautiously. It seems like they might forego grabbing the orb for now. Sarah's pretty close to having her pit online. Mimi is close to having...
Pulling them in.
Okay. That's another big one. Still no weapon upgraded, though. And yes, it's gotten a little bit easier, but there's still so much to do. If they try to NB here, you've got Bizarra. Oh, Georgina almost catching another, spamming through, having to deal with the turret. Issa's not far off. That would have been huge. But not able to convert. Lance is weak, and that's a spike! She went forward, perhaps a bit too far. Issa and Georgina, and finally a Guardian has been found. 13 seconds left. They've got to push this, and they've got to get the spike now.
They can delay long enough, too. I mean, they still have stars on the line as well. Sarah getting that spike down, that's something they desperately need. The Viper pit probably going to go down towards that spawn, and Roxy getting a pick onto Issa. Oh, my goodness. If they just stayed together, maybe that could have been a lot faster, a lot better of a retake. But now Georgina in a 1v2, we've seen her win these.
I mean, if there are allegations of you clearing comm, this would be the time to do it. In the face of a pit, with the Guardian, pushing forward, snaps the first, 3 down on the round. Pit still in play, and Sarah so weak. Tap the ground, and Georgina doesn't! A 4K, as Liquid pull off a ridiculous round. Yeah, Georgina clears comm. The Red Bull clutch for Team Liquid.
Georgina's on absolute fire, and just like Sapphire said on that depth, we did not talk a whole lot about Georgina before this event, but after this event, for sure, she has cemented herself on this roster. She has shown why she deserves to be on this stage. Georgina single-handedly winning so many rounds for her team thus far in this tournament. Amazing place. We've seen her timings, her lurks, so beautifully played. And look at the crowd, look at the coaches, look at this reaction. TL, that is going to be a hard one to lose for G2. You need to recover mentally from that one.
Not a lot of time to think about it, already into the 18th round. No ults on the side of G2. A healthy buy for everyone, though.
You should run.
I lied, sorry about that. They have the lockdown. It's gonna buy a little bit of space. Tap of the door, no fight found, though. But there's a lot of space that's been taken away from Issa here.
Two players going on the flank towards B main. I mean, they have Mimi holding it, but is Mimi gonna be enough? Issa making so much noise. Mimi getting the first initial kill, but Starda getting the trade. The ult coming off, but Mimi's movement. My gosh.
Bizarra, an excellent counter. They tried to push forward, and it's gone horribly awry. G2 on the ropes as Bizarra gets another 3.
I am speechless. That round was wild. We thought it was going to go so wrong as soon as we see Bastarda miss that raise out. Mimi playing for herself, but Bizarra, my gosh. I mean, G2, understandably, they made a call. Hey, there's 2 flank. We heard a raise out. You know, let's push. Let's take some more space away from them. Let's flip the site, especially if they're flanking. But they just weren't ready for Bizarra. Oh my goodness, these multi-kills are clutching round after round for TL. You were talking about earlier how G2 is so clutch. They're really good at clutching, yes, but TL's clutches are when they have those multi-kill moments. Those moments where they're just delayed for so long that their team is so ready to fight. That was a wild round to watch, and now we have TL ahead, still ahead, but now it's 11-7, 2 rounds away from that point.
And you see the expression on the players' faces on the stage right now on the side of Liquid. I mean, pure joy, right? Again, understanding how close they are to doing something ridiculous. And for the first time, I think all tournament, we just took a quick glance, no pun intended, at G2. And there's concern. I mean, you saw it on Roxy's face, you saw it on Glance's face. It's very, very still, and you imagine Carcass is able to provide some words of encouragement, but this is tough.
It's almost like they're petrified. No pun intended.
Stop. Mine wasn't. Mine was actually an accident. I don't believe you.
We're gonna start with this regular 2-1-2 from the defense side. KJ playing towards that C, actually playing a full retake setup. She has this lockdown. They know that they have to push in order to get that site, but it's not a problem. Mimi starting off towards C again with that pressure, but B main, Daiki already has full control of it.
This looks just like the pistol. You remember the pistol? It was the dog towards C, and they contacted up A, and that's where that fight ensued that went horribly awry for Liquid, but this time there's no one there to challenge back.
Yep, Astra and Raze playing that suck nade setup off contact. It's going to be detrimental if they don't bait out that star. I mean, it's going to be hard and looking like they are trying to end towards that A. The nade's coming out, the util is starting.
Oh, that's really good. After Petra, it was the stun, it was the nade. Oh, excuse me, from Basada, and she gets two, but Petra's there on the counter. Daiki has Seekers too and invested, understanding now that Roxy's going to be playing off. Sarah's far up. Issa, yeah, mollied off, but they're surrounding them. It's just two remaining for the attacking side. Sarah has to go aggressive here to make the play, isolate the fight, and she cannot. Liquid so close to series point, so close to forgetting all about their third place finish last year. So close to booking a ticket to dance with Shopify. 1 round away.
That was wild. I mean, the C setup, playing passive. Daiki taking B main pressure and immediately rotating towards that A link. She knew it was going to be an A hit. They were all ready. Even though Jujina died on site, she still managed to get her concussed. She still managed to get herself off. And off of that, Bastarda got 2 beautiful kills. And we talked about the fast flooding, and TL just showed us that's why they're getting so far with these retakes. They pushed so fast into that site, they didn't even have a chance to react.
No way.
Bastarda walking up. Oh my goodness.
I mean, the leader, the duelist, who's had such an outrageous tournament, just has to sit and watch. The rest of G2 again playing this quietly, much like they did in the previous round. Towards A, 1 Astra Star, and then 2 members. Posted up, there's so much space that's been taken. Jujina will fall. Bastarda close by, and instantly you see Daiki on the move, on the prowl. The alarm bot's gonna keep her back for just a moment. Oh my goodness, Bastarda, this is aggressive. The nade forward eats the paranoia, but they don't realize how close she is. Steady with the aim. The crosshair swings onto another. It's not gonna deliver. 3v3 as Daiki once again finds the perfect timing, finds the perfect kill, and Glance falls. It's all on to Sarah. A 1v2, she's stunned, and she cannot pull it off. Team Liquid do the unthinkable. The Dark Horse pushes forward and advances.
What a show! TL showing absolute dominance on both of these maps. 2-0 against the former champions. TL showing that they deserve to be in that grand final. SR, they should be ready for a fight tomorrow because this TL is looking so clean.
Unbelievable. I mean, what a series. Again, you see it. Remember, second best of 3 today. A test of endurance, a test of stamina against a team that, yeah, maybe some players or some people in the community had questions about, will G2 be as good as they were last year? They came into the tournament and they sure did look like it.
Yeah.
Right? The experiment was working. G2 seemed to be peaking at just the right time. But behind this crowd, who's on their feet right now, they pull it off. They freaking pull it off. A 3rd place finish last year in Berlin. This time, their home ground, they're not done yet.
Yeah, and you can see how emotional all these players are. I mean, G2 played absolutely amazingly. Every single one of these players showing us what they have got. They showed us in each role and in each passing clutch that they are amazing players. G2 absolutely wonderful. But TL on their home ground, just like you said, they have that buff and such an emotional way to end this VO3 because you can tell that TL really wanted to be here, let alone in front of the crowd in their home.
What a moment. What a moment. Oh, sweep against G2. They played beautifully. They really did. They never showed signs of slowing down. There was never any sign of fatigue or anything like that. And G2 put up a fight. Like, let's call it what it was. It wasn't like they rolled over, but Liquid handled it beautifully.
Yeah, Liquid showing again each one of these players why they were picked up. They did that whole roster swap. They changed all of their players other than 2, and they showed why they picked up these players because they pushed through and pushed past the obstacle that they could not fight last year. And now this beautiful 2-0 sending them into the grand finals. What a way to end this day.
And they did it with confidence. They did it with clutches.
Yep.
There was flashy, there was style, there was, I mean, everything you could possibly want. And the #1 seed out of Brazil continues to push forward.
And again, we need to talk about Eugenia because she has been playing crazy. Today, in general, she has been playing wonderfully. Yes, the whole tournament, she has been playing amazing, and every single one of these girls on this stage has been playing amazing, but Eugenia today just showed us that she is so hungry for it. Such an amazing way to see how this team has formed and this team plays together. Amazing timing, amazing lurks. For real, I need to commend Eugenia for the way that she played today.
Welcomed by high fives and cheers and requests for autograph, and well, for good reason. After that performance against G2, second series of the day against an SMG team that looked very formidable, that looked very confident. We were having questions about whether or not they'd be the first APAC team to lift a trophy like that. Like, it would just be ridiculous, and it's just been so good for Liquid. Unreal. You can see it, celebrations everywhere. It's a big moment, a very big moment for Team Liquid.
Yeah, I need to get me some of those TL photo cards because that was a show. That was an amazing watch. And look at this emotional moment between family and between players. This is exactly why they do this. And we know that tomorrow we are going to see an even more formidable opponent. Someone that's going to be so hungry for the win in front of this crowd.
Tomorrow, a fight, a slugfest. But today, for now, and exhaling a sigh of relief as they've taken care of what they've needed. We're going to throw it down to the stage for the Verizon post-match interview.
Estamos aqui diretamente do palco, gente. Eu tô aqui com a Bezerra da Team Liquid, que estão diretamente na nossa grande final de casa. Hello everyone, I'm here with Bezerra from Team Liquid, and right now I'm going to ask you what do you have in your mind? I mean, you're in the grand finals and in your home ground. How does it feel?
Cara, é um sentimento de, assim, a gente conseguiu a nossa reconexão, então a gente tá muito feliz de ter, tipo, varrido essa Laura e agora tá na final, tipo, não sei nem explicar o nosso sentimento, de verdade. E com nossos familiares, a torcida toda pra gente, tipo, mano, incrível, sério, incrível.
She said that she barely can explain anything because this feels amazing, because she has the crowd, her families together here, and the feeling that they went through lower bracket and they simply nailed it. It was really good. So let me ask you once more. Basically, Petra, in an interview from G2, said that SMG was shooting harder than both Team Liquid and Shopify Rebellion. So I really want to know, what do you think about that? Eu perguntei pra ela agora, né, o que ela tá achando, porque olha, ontem eu vi uma entrevista da Petra da G2 falando que a SMG tava ali atirando pesado mais do que a Team Liquid e do que a Shopify Rebellion. O que você acha disso?
Cara, eu não culpo elas por ter achado isso, porque na nossa estreia contra elas a gente tava mais nervosa, tava, assim, muito diferente do que a gente realmente é. E agora a gente provou pra elas que, pô, não é assim e tá bem diferente.
She said that basically she can't blame Petra because at the beginning, on her first match against G2, they were really nervous, and that's why Petra felt this way, basically. This is amazing. The crowd is cheering so hard. So, last question, but not least, Shopify Rebellion is your next step. what are you expecting? O que você tá esperando agora da Shopify Rebellion? Grande final, e aí?
Cara, sinceramente, eu não tô esperando... Não tô esperando, assim, nada extraordinário delas. A gente tá focando mais na gente. Então, acho que é isso, é manter o ritmo e focar mais na gente do que o outro time que tá contra. Porque foi o que a gente fez nessa lore, que a gente focou, confiança, tudo. E a gente tá confiando em si mesmo. Tipo, qualquer time que vir, a gente vai amassar porque a gente tá muito confiante.
That's great, thank you so much. She said that she doesn't expect a thing from Shopify Rebellion. What she does expect is from Team Liquid. She says that it doesn't matter which team she's going to face. They're going to nail it. Thank you so much. Parabéns. E agora é a grande final. Manda um beijo pro pessoal.
Beijo, gente. Muito obrigada pela torcida. Quem não esteve aqui, a gente sentiu também muita energia de vocês. Muito obrigada de verdade, gente. Beijo e continue torcendo pra gente.
She sent a lot of kisses and please continue to cheer for us, Team Liquid. That's it. Thank you so much. É isso, é com vocês, galera!
2 series and 5 maps later, we have our grand finalists joining Shopify Rebellion. This is, by the way, Team Liquid's first international grand final in Valorant across 7 international appearances. This is definitely a landmark in Valorant history here, Sapphire.
Yeah, there's been, you know, so many incredible players across the entire Team Liquid organization in Valorant, but it's the Game Changers roster that finally gets the org to that grand final spot.
Yeah, it's amazing indeed. And Baby Bay, we saw just how hard they fought, and we're seeing so many great plays like here right now, especially this one from Jujina, which nobody thought she would be able to pull off.
This clutch was ridiculous. There's no way you should be able to win this, but the outplay with the Astral Wall, making doubt in the enemy Viper's mind, is she on the bomb or not? And then the wide swing coming through. It was beautiful, and honestly, they're so passionate, and it was a real tearjerker. We were all like getting teary-eyed when we saw the reaction when they won with their families, boyfriends, everything going
We're like,
on.
are they cutting to us already? Because wait, hold on.
It was beautiful. It was a beautiful scene to watch.
It was, and you can just tell how emotional this is for all of the players and for the region as a whole, the Brazilian region as a whole, how much this means to them. The crowd has been constant in their support across all of the games, and of course, the cheers from Team Liquid have been the loudest, respectively, but also because just it means so much to them.
Yeah, I mean, these players have been together for so long, especially Daiki and Bastarda have been building this roster for a while now, and finally they're making it to that grand final spot.
And look at this, we have Petra here as the MVP for G2, and we have Visera for Team Liquid. And I think it's no surprise because like as we entered those last few rounds, she was definitely popping off, Baby Bay.
Yeah, everybody on this roster has been having their moments as this tournament has gone on. And like if you look at the actual kill distribution, it's really even across the board. I think that goes to show why they had such a good performance today against G2. And it wasn't some easy win. Like it was hard fought, but the adaptations that they made, especially on that attacking side, by going B a lot and those post plants that they had, it was menacing to G2, honestly.
And I love how you could tell that, you know, they had that second win, they had that momentum towards the last few rounds because you could tell that they could already taste the victory. You could kind of feel more aggression, more of that push towards the final stretch.
The crowd was feeling it, they were feeling it. Palestra started putting his shoes on.
Like, I'm ready to go.
He knew they were ready to close it out.
Wrap it up.
Yeah, it was a great moment indeed, and you can feel the joy. But of course, this, definitely much respect to G2. This does not take anything away from their performance here in this tournament. They're definitely, as we mentioned, this is still the top 4, this is still top 3 for G2, and they are definitely one of the strongest teams out there in the Game Changers scene. And Baby Bay, all that is left to do is tune in tomorrow for our grand final, a best of 5 showdown between Shopify Rebellion and Team Liquid. What are your thoughts right now?
Honestly, this is a crazy storyline from Team Liquid making this lower bracket run, and it's kind of like, is it fate? You know, is it fate? Are they meant to win in Brazil? There's a strong case that it's so.
It sounds like the story is writing itself, right, Sapphire? Before we close out, any final thoughts?
Yeah, it's just so exciting to see this team on home turf. You know, it's rare. Like, we travel around all the time for Game Changers, for VCT, and it's really hard to get into that grand final spot regardless of location. So to do it in front of your grand final, your home team, That's such a special moment for those players.
The story seems to be writing itself, but is it set? Not quite yet. You're going to have to tune in tomorrow to find out what happens. So thanks so much for watching. We will see you guys tomorrow at the grand final. And before you go, we're going to leave you with these Prime Gaming post-day highlights. Have a great rest of your day, everybody.
Bye.
The stage is set. We have Haven, Bind, and Ascent. This could be the last 3 maps for one of these teams in this tournament.
Oh, Ivy. She's gonna get all 4. Beautiful control on her spread. There's the pull. Stun through. They'll head into this side, and 2 are stuck. Shirazi jumping down into hell. She's got it down to 1, but Issa gives it away. Is there time to get this one done? Can Shirazi find the shot? Only a sheriff in her hand, but Adiza instead. Slows time for a moment. It'll work in her favor, but she needs to rely on spam. She needs to rely on luck, and well, she found one. Can she get Issa off? Can she stop this? Just at the last moment, Shirazi closes the map. Team SMG force Liquid on the back foot. He does have something to get back into this round for TL, but look at how fast she's flanking.
And there he is still going in. Team Liquid being fully encircled, but Daiki is fighting her way out. A 3K for her now too.
Daiki holds the line. She's got another shot. Here, Kamiyu close. The rocket connects. Bastarda's still alive and ready for another fight. It's an Aerie. Desperately trying to get something done with a rocket of her own, but Bastarda has got the angle. And here comes Georgina. She's ready for hers as well. At aim, it sure is crisp. Team Liquid, they have controlled this map from the beginning to the end. They close out 13-7. They push us to Ascent. Drawn forward. Team Liquid have great information, and the spam is there as well. Prime Gaming flawless Team Liquid. Did she get another? She doesn't need it! Alexi has got 3. Bazera's on the ground. Issa's finding hers. How has she done that? How does she keep Team Liquid in this round? Can she do more? No doubt! Bazera has a flash. How much can she get done? The Spectre runs and guns and pulls them over.
Team Liquid will defeat SMG and advance to the top 3 once again.
Their hero run continues. The gauntlet calls them deeper into this tournament.
The hopes of the Brazilian region are on the line, and the defending champions are on a mission to reclaim their crown. It can't get any better than this.
And again, they don't know that Mimi's here. This is perfect. Mimi gets 2. What a gorgeous set by G2. And like Lance get into a better position. Roxy winning the first. It's going to have to be Glance. Glance is healthy. Daiki is not by any means, but it does not matter. And the alarm bot keeping things back for now. Mimi the first to fall. Petra shortly thereafter joining. Back-to-back Prime Gaming flawlesses for Team Liquid. The crowd comes back to life as things are closed out. A 1-0 series lead for Team Liquid. And now the flank is coming through. The pit's going to come down, but Eugenia's timing is perfect. She's going to hit the spam, and she does! Eugenia! The Red Bull clutch for Liquid just at the right time. If you're trying to play backside there, you have a flash coming around one side, the nade coming around the other. That's 3 on the round for Mimi. In the face of a pit with the Guardian. Pushing forward, snaps the first. 3 down on the round. The tap, the grab, and Eugenia does it! Team Liquid do the unthinkable. The Dark Horse pushes forward and advances.
2-0 against the former champions, SR. They should be ready for a fight tomorrow because this TL is looking so clean.